Good morning. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Am I shouting? One of my ears is plugged. It just happened. I don't know what. I'm just finishing this post. Oh, I totally forgot about it. What do we like better? I always love rainbow. Good morning, good morning. Hi, Diane. Hey, Margaret. How's it going? Okay, I did that right. I don't like this. I'm like, did I already add it? I already added it, right? Yeah, okay. Cool. We done. Hi, Amy. Hey, Christina. Hey, Monica. Hey, Beth. Hey, Sydney. How's it going? Oh, nice. I'm glad. Yeah, I do love sleeves. I figured out a new trick yesterday. I was trying to fit somebody and they had this one wrinkle and I was like, I wish I was there. I would know exactly what to do if I was there and I could touch it. And they had already done one thing that fixed other lines. And so I just like walked away and did something else. And then I came back and I looked at it and I was like, I know what to do. So it's kind of funny. I think that one of the things about Fitopedia for me is that, I mean, like, I don't want you guys to take it like I don't know how to fit, right? It's just that I don't know how to teach fitting. I just know how to I just know how to maneuver the fabric, and then I know what to do to the pattern that's correct, like that won't hurt anything else on the pattern to fix it. And that's so hard to convey because it's just something learned and I just don't know how to, like, I'm learning how to teach it. And I'm getting a little better at it. But why aren't there two of these here? That makes me nervous. But one of the things about Fitopedia, you know, because I'm like tackling that right now, is that sometimes I just feel like less instruction is more valuable, because if I just say, if you have this, do this. If you have this, do this. That is just like 15% of the fitting picture. You just need to look at the garment, find the wrinkle, and know what to do with it. And the wrinkle could be anywhere. I can't give you every single wrinkle, right? Because you might be in a unique situation with like, oh, this collar and yoke and all these other things. So it's interesting. Like when I saw that yesterday, I was like, oh, this is really easy to fix on the other sleeve. So yeah. Right, me too, Monica. I do love that too. Hey, Blair. Yeah, Amy, it's 10 so-so. And they're moving right now. I'm sure you noticed. So they may take a couple extra days to ship things, but they still are welcoming orders. Yeah, it's interesting, Terry, right? I think, though, like, when you know, like, you can't give up on yourself to convey knowledge like that, unless you're just like, okay, this is not the time and space for me to do a deep dive on how to convey this, right? But because I think that it's a gift to yourself to figure out how to convey something accurately that doesn't have the potential for misinterpretation. That's the key, right? Because if you said under or below or on the bottom, those three things can mean something different, especially in sewing and garment making, and leaving it to be able to be understood without a misinterpretation, because all of those do mean something different. So it's really interesting. It's a good challenge, and it helps you like, it like deeply seats your knowledge. I don't know how to put it. So yeah, it's just experience. Fabric handling. Where's this other little thing? I literally just checked everything. And what the heck, man? What the heck? Okay, we have sleeve and cuff. We have Loki, if you just heard him like grumble. Sleeve and cuff, right? Unfortunately, nothing else in the bin. This is so annoying. Oh, here it is. Oh my goodness, good. Whew, I was a little worried. Just mainly because it's like all the pattern matching. You know, I don't think I can do that in front of people. Like, it's like math, you know. Sometimes I'm like, okay, this is as much pattern matching as I can do without totally ignoring you while I focus. Okay, so we have our cuff. So we are working on the Sanders button-up, which is coming along really beautifully. I really love it. I can't wait to see how some of these fit changes worked out on Michael, because I'm sure they're not 100%. So I'm really eager to like see what worked and what more needs tweaking, because it's going to be fun. So we have our front with our, can this just buzz off? There we go. We have our chest pockets. And then the back has shaping. These are panel seams. You can barely see them. And a yoke there. Hey, Julie. It still bugs me I didn't double stitch this. And I know usually I would have fixed that by now, but this is a little bit more like this. It's kind of at a speak now or forever hold your peace kind of moment, because I could still go in through here. Oh, especially, I shouldn't have checked that. Especially since we sewed this a little differently because our shoulders aren't attached. So this is the one, well, I've only done one mod, right? And it's just this second layer of front yokes, right? Yeah, well, you know, it doesn't always work out for me, Monica. But I try. I try. But yeah, I love this. I love the way this looks in person, the fabric and stuff. So yeah. You guys can do way better than you think. I'm sure there are plenty of things you can sew or cut or whatever and talk at the same time. So what did I do to the collar? Oh, I sewed it a little differently than the instructions. I finished it under the collar here. It's very tall. I still keep thinking about how tall it is. Oh, what was I talking about with my office mate? He was asking me some questions about the hem. I was like, yeah, speak to me. I want to know. Like, he was like, he had questions about something about hems and the shape of them and where he had bought shirts. And he also had something about the yoke. And I was like, tell me what it is. Tell me. I want to know from people like who wear these, especially people like guys who've worn these kinds of shirts for like their whole life, you know, what they don't like. Oh, I know what it was. He really had a pet peeve when the button starts way down here, the top button. And he was just kind of gobsmacked to know that you can order shirts and place this button wherever you want it. So. There's me the third pair of leggings. Oh, I bet they fit better than you think. Yeah, this does show up pretty well on camera. I agree. I'm sorry though, Julie, that sounds really frustrating. Is it a different fabric? Maybe it's just a different fabric. And maybe you'll grow to like them. They just feel different than your others that you really like. You know, it's like you have different underwear for different days of the week, like moods. Oh, I want the smooth, tight ones under this grabby dress and the loose, comfy ones for jammies. So, Zooms are harder, Terry. That is so much different. That you guys cannot compare your ability to talk and do things to a Zoom. Here, I am the only one talking. You can't interrupt me. you can't tell me to get out. You know what I mean? Like, it is, I am speaking in somewhat of a vacuum, right? I am in charge. So, hi Rose, how's it going? All right. Oh, hey Mullen. I didn't notice you there because I just saw the blue, you and Terry's blue. Yeah, Zoom is a lot harder. I have one of my like constant forms of anxiety, and it's not like an anxiety like a medical anxiety. I'm sure it is to some people, but my constant thing, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, is the idea of being somewhere and having nothing to do. So like, if I know I'm going to be in a line for a really long time, I will have anxiety. I like to be busy. And yes, I know just sitting and not being busy is a good thing. And I do this. I promise I build a lot of that into my life, especially like over breakfast. I sit out on the porch and stuff like that. But when I have a Zoom, and I have those 4 times a month with my guild, I often think, what if there's nothing, no one asks questions today, I need a project, and I will start having like, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do? So now I bring things like taping patterns together, so there's always something, because it's low, it's like, if I don't get it done, it's okay, because my attention is for you, but at the same time, I have to have a backup. I can't just sit there and do nothing. Being a knitter was so amazing for this, because I could just bring knitting and have it, and I can just do it. And I had like a mindless project and a attentive project. So that is one of my biggest things, and I spend a lot of my brain time coming up with things. Like, this is the other thing. When I leave every night, when I leave here, I bring things home, because the idea of being home with nothing to do, I don't like that. The crazy thing is, there are so many things for me to do at home, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, especially if I leave late here, like we ate lunch and we're not going to have dinner right away, I'll sometimes work like an hour later. It's 7:20 when I get home. What do I think I am going to do between 7:20 and 9 p.m., which is usually when I sit down and relax and do nothing? You know? That's like an hour and a half. And I need to eat dinner, wash my face, put my pajamas on, fill the pet water bowls. Like, there's stuff to do. But the anxiety of going home with nothing, a project, like I already am planning what I'm bringing home today, you guys. It's bad. It's chronic. All my life. Anyway. Can I do something really wrong? I did that when I started sewing these. Yep. You made a pair of pants. I thought they were fun until I learned about this thing called balancing your pattern. Now I'm in the process of tweaking your pants pattern to get rid of ankle pulling. Oh, yeah. I think I did, Susan. We're about to see. I think I did. I usually do not. This is the one pattern I usually always cut on the bias and interface it within an inch of its life so it's not stretchy, because I think that it's really hard to pick what you're going to match. So, do you guys want to start sewing? All right, first we need to iron our interfacing out. This is also the only pattern piece I leave out when I'm sewing a button-up shirt. Like, I'm not a magician. I like having it. I like that they printed, you know, these lines on here. I often use the Thread Theory Designs Tower placket from the Fairfield button-up, and they also have a lot of fold lines. Sometimes more instruction can be a little confusing, because then you're like, oh my God, all these lines, all these numbers. But if you just read through the instructions, have your little pattern piece, it all makes sense, right? So just, you know, back away from the ledge. Back away from the ledge. Calm down. Read each thing. Understand it, then read the next thing. And I'm saying that really to myself. I wish my ear wasn't plugged. Okay, let's go over to the iron. And let's get my sleeves out. And we have the cuffs here to, I'm going to put my phone on up here so I can see chat from over here. Because, nope, that's the wrong stream. Probably have to watch an ad on my own stream though. Oh, I love that my stream doesn't pull up. Yeah. Oh, that was it. Ay. Here it is. So hard to find your own. Here we go. Oh, I am apologizing for anybody that has to watch a Shein ad on my video because I am morally opposed to this company and I make no apologies for it. Okay. Here we have, hey Aisha, you driving home? Nice. Catching me in a can of stream before I have to leave the house again. No worries. All right, so this right here is, I'm going to assume this is right side up. This is my left sleeve. I have one notch right here signifying this right here. Do you want the lighting light higher? I'm gonna just do it a little touch lighter. I can never tell over there. Plus when I'm standing there, it probably blocks a little bit of the light. So let's try, God, it's so hard to grab those sliders. Oh, it's on auto. Oh, Beverly, I caught it. That's a little better, right? I actually really love the lighting over here, and I know it's not ideal, but I just love the like mood of the lighting over here. So bad. Okay. So usually I will notch the pleat, and then there will be a little notch where the, oh, so wait, it's right here. I'll notch the pleat, and then this is where the placket is right here. So let's see how I match this up. I don't know if oh, it does look like I matched my cuff too. Holy matching Batman. I had barely enough fabric right here. That's why it's rounded. It is not a round cuff. I'm just trying to decide if it's like that. What do I like better? Do I want it kind of almost looks continuous when I do that. Sorry, you probably can't even see that. Here. So here's my slit. So when I cut my sleeve out, I mark the pleat, and then this is where the slit will go. And then my cuff here looks maybe, oh, you know what? Actually, I think my cuff is on the other cross grain, so I didn't have to worry about this. Oh no, that looks okay. Never mind, I'm wrong. I may have changed that. Okay, so yeah, this works. Okay, so here it is, here it is. Well, maybe. It could match, but that's not this big of a seam allowance. It shouldn't be that big of a seam allowance, you know what I mean? So maybe I should intentionally not match it. Oh no, this is how it goes, 100%. Okay, so this is my outer cuff. So we're going to interface that area. This is one reason I should have interfaced right after I cut so that I wouldn't be worried about this. Okay, I got you, Nancy. Kind of. I think we're out of the woods for a lot of the matching, so you have some friends who are all about buying used, not being wasteful, sorry, but then they turn around and buy what? What? It's a wild, wild world, you guys. Wild, wild world. Okay, so we have this one. And now we're going to look at this one here. So if that one, the front was on that side, the front should be on this side. Perfect, perfect. Let's do a little ironing. It's all wrinkly. Will I make you some leggings now? Don't iron Scotch tape. Trust me. Aren't they jeggings or are they leggings? Okay, so my slit's over on this side this time. So, okay, there we go. It's like this. That seems really far over. Yeah. I don't know. This one seems to match a little more of a struggle. It should only be 3/8 from the end. I'm wondering if I've thought of it as 5/8. I think this will look like the other cuff. I would like my cuffs to match each other, more importantly than the sleeve. So, and what I mean by that is, I think that the, whoa, where's my, I didn't put both pieces of interfacing on that thing, right? What the heck? Oh no. What, I swear I'm prepared for these. What the heck? You saw I had 2 of those, right? We never know. Oh, I see it. Oh my goodness. Hi, Michelle. Loving the shirt now, but I have a question for you. Is it possible to do a button-down collar even if it's not part of the pattern? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the sewing fairy better just get it out of her system now. Can you just tell her to get out, Terry? Just ban the sewing fairy. I don't know, the sewing fairy can look out for me too, you know. So this is the Wiggin, by the way. All right. We're gonna, I don't know why I'm being so precious about my cuffs, but like keeping them pinned to the thing, but because it's gonna be obvious later if it works or not. Okay, so let's see. Let's just take a gander. So the tower part of this, oh, I don't think these match, Susan. I actually don't think. I decided to go for the pattern. So can you see how I have highlighted this gray? That is what I chose to match. And maybe, oh, I didn't even do the horizontal. So I chose this. It's going to go like right here. So it won't even match the cuff. It doesn't even matter like that I would spend all that time on the cuff. Because the sleeve's going to pleat, right? Your matching is already off. And then you have this tower placket, which goes like right here. So what do you match? So don't stress about that so much, you know. Okay, so I want to see which one looks more like the right or wrong side. Okay, so this is going to be the wrong side. And see, we're going to put our interfacing in these 2 places right here. Basically, this one is 3/8 of an inch away from the edge, the short edge here, like meaning this is the short side because this is the tall side, right? So we're going to line this up to the top and 3/8 of an inch away from the edge, or 1 centimeter, right? So there's that. Don't always be dependent on the pattern. Figure out what's going on there. Like what's different, what's happening, what is it lining up to? Now this one is going to line up in the center of your tower because everything's going to fold around it. Like this. The reason it's not in places like this is bulk. There we go. Highlighting the pattern is a great solution for, I don't even know. What's that? That's in reference to, I'm sorry. For the tower pack. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I do that in the video, don't I? The tower placket video. Okay, so the main thing you need from this is this box right here, right? And so what I do, I think in my how to sew a tower placket video, is I will fold along this, right? You could use a Hera marker too, but it probably won't show up on this plaid for me. I'm not sure, but we'll see. We can try it. I don't want to ruin my pattern piece, so I'm going to put it on here so I have a more firm surface. Mark it from the wrong side. Wrong side. Oh, that'll do. Okay. Mark this box on here. And the slit, remember I told you I marked the slit, I marked the pleat and the slit. That lines up to the center here, the slit, right there. All right. We can even go like this. Boop. Just do a little notch there. Let's measure it. So it's like 3/4. More important to get the dimensions right. And it'll stop a seam allowance away from the top, like that. I can't see that. Let's see if I can do this. You can use chalk too. We're on the wrong side, you know. Maybe I'll do chalk so you guys can see it. Try and, I'm going to stay more parallel to the plaid. I'm prioritizing the plaid right now. Ain't no sleep like a pug sleep. Kind of hard to see that top one there. Okay. I love sewing these. So there's, these things used to confuse the ever-loving heck out of me. And now the way I think of these is that you're doing two things. You're clean finishing this slit here, each side of it as separate plackets. And we just happen to have both those plackets on one piece of fabric. So this one is this one here. Let me pull up. Oops, sorry. I ended up cutting out an estuary skirt today out of that corduroy you all gave me tips on, like, because I was like, you guys, I'm not sure I like this corduroy. And I really didn't think I would ever like it. And it was like that deep teal with like the abstract, like plant looking things on it. It was a micro corduroy, like a really small corduroy. There's like a little bit of rust on it. And when I got it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this. And someone suggested a skirt, and I loved that idea. So I cut an estuary skirt out today. So yeah. Okay, so let's orient ourselves here. This right here is the back of my sleeve. My sleeve is right side up right now. We're going to put this wrong side up. I'm looking at the instructions. I want to make sure I'm not going to stare any of you guys awry, okay? But I know exactly how this goes. I just want to make sure, okay? Yeah, that's the back and that's the front. Your tower placket, like the tall side, it's going away from the front of you because you always button this away from you, right? Like this away from you. And so this right here, it's going to go, it's the side that's going to show to the world, and the top placket. So it's the side of the slit closest to the center of the garment, if that makes sense, right? So this is my front sleeve now, and this is my back sleeve. So it is going to be this one here. Yeah, okay, making sure. This is the, oh no, this is my back, this is my front, yeah, it's my front sleeve. Front sleeve, oh sorry, I can't see chat. Oh, you're not even talking. I'm trying to like figure out a way to like easily make this so that you always do it right. That's why I'm kind of looking at the instructions like visually, what do I see? So I see the back sleeve, but I see this towards the front, right? And then we have our slit, which is right here. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's right, sorry, that's right. So this is our slit, and we center this box over the slit. And I'm going to kind of look and make sure I'm getting it sort of straight too with the plaid, you know. So I'm lining up this white line with this line of plaid here, because that seems pretty dead on actually. So that's good. Oh, that's smart to look in your wardrobe, I think. All right, so this sleeve is wrong side up. My placket is right side down, okay? This is the front of the sleeve. This is the back of the sleeve. So this is the side with the slit. And I still have this wrong. Sorry. The opposite one is shown in the instructions. That's why I'm confused. I keep confusing myself here. All right. I was like, wait, that isn't going to make sense. So front of the sleeve. The tall side goes to the front of the sleeve. Wrong side up. So if you're using the instructions and you did that sleeve in the instructions correctly, I'm doing the other sleeve right now. That's kind of why I keep confusing myself. And that's just my cuff sitting there. So front of the sleeve, tall, wrong side up, box is lined up, centered over the slit. I'm lining up this chalk line to a plaid line. And now we're just going to stitch around that box that I chalked. And I like to use kind of a slightly shorter stitch length. And I do that because of the flannel. If you're doing something more stable or tightly woven, I wouldn't worry about changing your stitch length. But in my experience with the flannel, it's sometimes a little bit more open weave, you know? Why does it sound so funny? I think you know what it is, you guys? I think because I'm switching between two machines lately, it just sounds so heavy. Yeah, it's an industrial. Why does it sound so heavy? Jeez. Okay, so there we have that. And now we're gonna cut into this. I never pre-cut it. Like that, all right? And you can kind of see like the placket's gonna go toward the back, right? So this little guy is underneath and this big guy gets on top, okay? So let's do our other one, which looks like the one in the instructions. So this is the back of my, or this is the front of my sleeve. Wait, this was the front of my sleeve. Oh my God. Julie really wanted me to mess up and I feel like she jinxed me. You better not have jinxed me. I don't really have it in me to to do a big old mess up. Okay, so we have, oh, because it's the, yeah, because that was wrong side up. Yeah, okay, we're good. This is way easier than binding it. I love binding it though. Binding it's great too. I should have turned the AC on today, but it's actually rainy here. So I was like, nah. Okay, perfect. All right. So we have this over here. We have our box. I'm going to center it over my slit right there. And I'm just looking at my chalk line, trying to line it up to something on the plaid so I can hopefully stitch it on there as straight as possible. I don't want it to look wiggly, you know, like see like that little white line right there? Like that. Hopefully we can kind of smooth it out if that happens. Okay, where's my chalk line? It's right there. Okay, now all we're gonna do is arrange things. We're going to arrange things and fold them and all that fun stuff. And then this is really where you can kind of make them exactly how you want, even if you feel like it's not looking that ideal. Oops, geez, I hate when I do that. Okay. So the first thing I like to do is press. This is the short side of the placket, right? And we're going to turn up this long edge here as well. 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter. And then I also like to press that as well. And now we're also going to press this long edge here. And this little short top edge here. Since we don't have a pointy house, this one will probably be a little easier. All right, so now we're going to flip this all to the right side. So this short one here, you're just enclosing that edge, just like this. So this folded edge goes up to your seam right here. So you're just covering it up basically like that, right? Don't worry about all that up there yet. I'm just pulling up that top of the box there, and I'm going to press it. Okay, now I'm going to put this back. So you're going to get this weird little accordion pleat at the top. No one talks about this enough. See that right there? Weird little accordion pleat. This, for me, was always the really confusing part because I was like, how do I get rid of that? You don't. Okay. So that is normal. And I'll pin this over here, just indicating that we are ready to stitch this side. All right. And now this side here, it does the same thing. Let's look at it from this angle here. Is that a pin? No, it's not. It does the same thing. It just encloses it like that. Okay. We're going to stitch this down first, and it's going to be done. And then this side here, you want to enclose this raw edge underneath this thing here. So you see how we have this interfacing strip right here? This edge right here is also a fold line. And you can kind of see it, right? Because when we fold this to enclose the seam there, it lines up with this edge of this interfacing, and it goes all the way to the top. So theoretically, we could just iron this right now and kind of get a better idea of how it's all going to line up. So if we get this in there and we get this in here, and you see how it covers it up, right? That's it. Terry's got the machines. Oh God, I just had a panic attack. I was like, what is that? Okay, so I like to give this a good press here. And this good press here. If you have a really fiddly fabric, actually, never mind. I'm not going to say that. All right, so now let's pull this to the right side. And you can even just press this opening here. I like to just press it so it's a better behaved. My fabric's really easy to deal with, and you might have one that's not, right? So, you know, you got to do some different things sometimes. Okay, now we're just going to press up the 3 edges, right? The 2 long edges, and then the top of the house. This is the house. We're making a barn today. We're making a shed. Or maybe, what would be like we're making a high rise. Okay, and then this one here. It's not a house, it's a high rise. All right, and then this encloses this guy here. I'll review all of this under the other camera too when I'm over there. And then this encloses this one. But like I said, you know, we can pre-press this. You see it, how it looks on this side? It would look like this, right? When it's really confusing, separate each thing out for what it is. Like this is a placket and the other side is a placket. All right, so now let's look at it all on here. So we have this one, and it has that little weird accordion bit. We have this one. Pull this so it's not pulling at all. The other way to think about this is that, remember how we sewed the box and then we cut up that slit? So the box, look at the box seam allowance is right here, right? See, there's my little angle cut, right? So, and this is the angle cut on this side. Those seam allowances are pressed this way. We haven't taken up any of the shirt, like we haven't like lost anything here. Those 2 edges still meet one another. They just meet each other now inside of a placket. I don't like how I'm getting that new fold line there. That's why I keep looking at it. I'm like, huh. A plaid shed, yeah. It's a plaid high rise. I think that's even funnier. Okay. Make sure this is gonna work here. I want kind of a crisper line over here. That's what I keep looking at. All right. What does placket mean? I don't know where the word comes from, but it usually means to enclose the raw edge of a closure, like an opening, button, non-buttoning. You can have a zipper placket too, though. Okay, so now let's just review everything we have here. So here is the short side, and this should be the back of your sleeve. And we're on the right side of the sleeve. This is the right side facing up. We sewed around our box, flipped it through the hole to the right side. We pressed the short side of the tower. It's the baby tower, right? And we've enclosed the seam, and it looks just like this, right? Okay. So now, sometimes I like to look up here and go, how far up should I stitch this? Sometimes if I stitch all the way to the top, it leaves me less room for fiddling with it because it's almost like you limit your options later on. So I kind of look at it and go, if I stitch this all the way past the opening here, what's gonna happen? Is it gonna be okay? And it is, as long as I don't go too far this way, right? So as long as I kind of keep that in there, it'll be fine. But often I just go to the opening and make sure that's enclosed. Just depends on the placket, the fabric, the sewing fairy, you know. So now we're just enclosing it, which is what you do with the bias placket, right? That was too short of a stitch length, but we're going to cover it up. All right, and so now we're going to stitch this other side, but we want to make sure that when we stitch this side here, we don't catch this placket, because that's our opening, right? We need this opening. We enclose everything, but it doesn't like bow out like this, right? So I like to look at this and go, okay. The fact that this is longer is so bizarre, because it was a whole piece a second ago, right? Let's just get rid of these threads. We'll force it down like that. And when we get up to where the top of our box was, which was right here, we want to be able to go across all of it, because you want to enclose all of those little raw edges. So this is when I turn it upside down. I like to fiddle with it. Mine's pretty thick because of the flannel. And I think in my other video, I usually try and give myself an indication of like, this is right here when that needs to happen, when I need to go across and enclose the top of the house. There's so much fabric in here. Let's make sure it's as flat as possible. All those accordion folds. It's so thick. So thick. Pushing that turn back raw edge under. So see what I mean by, see, because I stitched this down, if I hadn't, I could yoink it into the, under the placket. But we're gonna make it do it anyway. It's just pushing away because of all the thicknesses. I think that's a pretty good start. So now we're going to go up this side here, and you see how this placket here, it's away from my original seam. So right here is my seam. Here's the edge of my placket. So I know I won't catch it in there, but it is a little disconcerting. And oh, you should always check on this side too. Make sure none of your raw edges are poking down, like the triangle. I'm just going to straighten it out a little bit too. Hey Rachel, how's it going? So see how it's all tucked in here? It's like a little pocket. I see this a lot. People will say, I did everything you said, but I have all this fabric sticking there, and it's just because they're poking through that little hole there. So you just need to let it know who's boss. Like pull it up, press that little top edge. You saw me press that, because that helps me ensure that that won't happen. All right, so now we're going to go up along this long edge here. I'd probably spend a little more time arranging this, but I just want to keep moving too. So right now I'm focused on straight, because with the plaid it won't look straight if it's not. So, oh no, I just lost that pin somewhere around there. See, it's like right about here, I think. We'll go all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to take a peek in here, and you don't want to turn at the top of this. You want to turn where you are at the top of the box that we sewed originally, right? Which is like, it's like down here, so it lines up right here. So now I'm looking at it. See, I went a little bit over here. So I'm going to take my awl and just push this in here a little bit. Let it know who's boss. Don't let that stuff stick out, okay? I keep losing where the top of my placket is. I'm just going to go, I know it was between two of these plaids. I'm hoping it's this one. All right, I'm going to do an X. And I'm going to sew one side again so that I can go down the other side with the X. You can back stitch you want, but I feel like it's 2 rows looks neater than 4 back stitches. All right, so there we go. There we go. All right. So it's the other reason you want to tuck those little raw edges under there is because you don't want them poking out right here either. They wouldn't though, I don't think, but you never know. All right, so let's do our other one. All right, so let's do this first. So the short tower, and you know, now's my chance to make sure all of this is the top of my box right there. See it? There's the box we sewed. And see how it's up there, right? And that means that right now all of it's tucked on this wrong side. I love that. Like, this plaid is so good. I just love this brand. So it just behaves so nicely. So I think without pins, it's easier. I know that sounds crazy to some of you, but it's just so nice to be able to be like, okay, I can kind of arrange this. I can look at it, make sure. All right. And then now we have this one here. And this one I will probably pin because I really want to make sure that I don't distort it this way, like it doesn't do this, right? We want to make sure that this section here lines up over the short tower. The plaid kind of keeps us honest. All right, so where's the top? It's the top of that line right there. And I agree, like if you have this out of the way, this is a little flatter over here, but you will distort it. And it is narrower. See, it is narrower. So here's my seam and here's the placket. So when I stitch right here, I'm not going to catch that side in as long as everything is lined up the way it should be. I know you guys think this is the hard thing to do today, but I feel like the flat felling of the armholes is going to be the hard part. And I'm dreading it. I'm going to just shut this side here. And I don't know, for me, upside down is a little easier, so I'm just looking at it. And look, everything's pulled up in here. Okay, we're ready. Ready, Freddies? A little thick. Like, it's not thick as in like hard to sew. It's thick as in, I don't want it to push my presser foot away. And why am I doing this? I feel like I'm doing this left-handed right now. This is hard. I don't like this. I don't like this. Okay, this little fold back, I'm just gonna poke that in there like that. And yes, it gets this side over here a little askew, but that's okay. We're gonna visit that next. Now as I approach this side, I'm gonna poke this side in here. And if it's looking a little less square, I take my awl and I pull it. I place it right where I want it because I'm the boss. Nice. I'm glad, Rachel. It's nice to see you. All right, and I'm going to quadruple check the top because I always do because I get it wrong a lot. That's why. Like I think that's not quite where it is. Oh, wait, we want an X. Oops. I had just back stitched. Now, if you have things like cardboard templates and things, you can really get some nice, crisp tower plackets that look really professional. And I would just make them like this size, like the finished width here, the little piece of paper that you poke in there, iron around it, and it'll look really nice. That one's a little closer to my opening, which is good. All right, that looks good. No problem, right? Oh yeah, vents are actually cool, especially like, isn't it a little easier on a two-piece sleeve too? You do a lot of two-piece sleeves, don't you? That's why. That makes sense. Okay, so under no circumstances, if you're planning on flat felling your garment, do you do that now with your underarm seam on your sleeve? Because I've done that and it's really a nightmare. So now you have to attach your sleeves and we come back to our cuffs later. Yeah, exactly, Terry. Yeah, I agree. That looks so sharp too. It's so low profile. It's like, it behaves so nicely, the kind of thing. Okay, thoughts and prayers on this here. Okay, so let's make sure we got, this is the right side. This is the front. This is the right side. Look at how peaked this sleeve is. I just don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do it. I wonder if I shear the edge first with my shearing foot. I don't know. Or what if I... Are you kidding? No, I don't know. It looks really hard. Because, you know, I have to be able to do this, a smooth curve. What if I think I'm gonna, let's just experiment. I'm gonna put an easing stitch around the top, but only for the turn. So I'm gonna put this 3/8 of an inch away, which is like a centimeter. I added a 1/4 inch seam allowance extra to my underarm, side seam, armhole, and sleeve cap. So on the shirt, the armhole and side seam, the sleeve, the underarm and sleeve cap. And I added a 1/4 inch to the already 3/8 of an inch that's there, giving myself 5/8 of an inch allowance for a flat felled seam. I could always French it, yeah, and then top stitch it down. I'm legit nervous about this. I have a lot of trouble with the Fairfield. Well, I'm kind of eager to see if this will work, so I guess that's my backup plan. I'll do that on the other sleeve. So we'll go through the whole thing on this one. So I'm just going to add this easing stitch like just under 3/8 of an inch. And it's basically my normal stitch length. I really think that I doubt this machine, the sounds of this machine, because I'm using the Juki at home now. That's funny. And the one at home is like louder. Do a test. This is my test. Oh, maybe I should have given myself some stitch length. Holy. I'm just going to add some tension to this edge. My goodness. Yeah, I should have done this in like 4 sections, to be honest. I don't want the edge to get ratty. That just makes it even harder. So do you guys know, some of you know, I have this incredible knit fabric. And for lack of a better descriptive color name, the color of the fabric is Saremy's Flesh Tone. And the reason I got it is because at the hem, not the hem, but in intervals, there's a repeat of these hand-drawn houses in like black sketchy lines. And there's a lot of like coral and pink kind of as mood kind of on it. But for the most part, everybody's seen this fabric. They're like, oh yeah, that's your flesh color. I sometimes pencil my seam allowances in on some things. Though the seam plates on your machine, try and replace it. I've gone through so many throat plates. They all look a little different. I'll show you my collection someday. It's the one thing I collect is throat plates. Used throat plates. But anyway, okay, so this is my idea. I love this fabric. As soon as I saw it, I was like, there's no way you could wear this, Saremy. You'll look like you're naked walking around. It just won't look good. I got a lot of it, and it was expensive. It was actually this Italian import at Hearts Fabric, and I just fell in love with it. I'm a sucker for house prints. I will tell you that, too. I love house printed fabrics. So all reason went out the window. So anyway, I think what I'm going to do is a pair of pajamas with a yoke, and the yoke is going to be in a solid color, and they're pajamas, you know. Oh yeah, on the collar stand, that's a great place to put it. I would benefit from doing that. All right, so now we have this little fold line. And I'm going to sew this wrong sides together at the full seam allowance that I gave myself. You know, I have this tape that's accurate, and it sticks pretty darn good. Like if I were to like position, I could go like this. It has also inches and centimeters. So I could line up like that. It's pretty good. You can see it lining up to the lines on my Julian, hi. How are you? Julian, every time I see you, something amazing has happened for you, and I love it. Like, I just love seeing all the cool things you have gotten to do. Got to be a know-me designer. What's new with you? Oh, I'm good. We're making a men's button-up, and I'm about to flat fell the sleeve to the body, but look at how peaked my sleeve cap is. So I'm a little nervous about it. I've never made the Sanders before. Hi, Fiona. If you guys don't know Julian, he's on Instagram. You go by he, right, Julian? And he has 2 Instagram accounts, but Julian Creates is one of them. You're just leaving a sewing expo? Oh, did you have a good time? Which one was it? Was it Quilt Market? I can't remember. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Slumming it in my live stream. Oh, the original sewing. Okay, cool. That's awesome. You had a good time then? Oh my gosh, I'm all turned around here. Let's see. Julian does a lot of vintage patterns. You sewed one recently. It's actually probably not recent because you've probably sewn 10 things since then, but it was a few weeks ago, and I was actually really intrigued by it, and I'm going to check it out. I can't even remember what it was, but I remember going, All right, what is happening here? Julian's distracting me. Okay, this is my back sleeve, right? Nope, it is my front sleeve. And that is my, okay, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I want to put this wrong sides together. Here we go. Oh, you know which one I'm talking about, yeah. Oh, neat. That's awesome. I love that. All right, so we have a shoulder notch somewhere along here. There it is. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. My husband's kind of adventurous sometimes, you know. Look at that. I didn't need to like pull this so much, but I'm just so paranoid about being able to turn this thing under. We have a backup plan. I feel good about the backup plan too. Like it'll work one way or another. I mean, the ultimate backup plan here is just overlock, right? But I really didn't need to ease this that much. See, it sounds funny. We're okay though. So is the Sewing Expo done then? I really need to check out more of those. I would love to do something like that. I really had a good time at the one I did last year. You heard that, right? Terry's my like, you'll tell me you hear the ghost too. I know, you've got my back. I won't be crazy. All right, here we go. I think I've been kind of debating on whether I'm teaching at this show again. And the thing is, like, I loved it. I loved it. I was nervous as all heck. This is not a full 5/8 inch seam. And I was really surprised at how much I really loved it. And I really love just being around people that are so excited about sewing. And I've been to a lot of trade shows. I've been to trade shows in the garment industry, like where they're like selling the line. I didn't enjoy those very much. I've been to the outdoor industries where they're selling their line or whatever, you know, like all the booths selling all the brands that you buy, right? I've been to textile shows, not as a vendor though, just attended those and as a buyer. I did all the knitting shows when I had my company, my bag company. Never had I been to a show where everybody there was like in love with sewing and into sewing, especially garments, and just sewing in general, because all of those others were like, they were just end users or buyers or whatever. So I just really, it was like such a great, like it fed the soul type of stuff, you know? I don't know how to put it. Okay, you guys, I'm just too distracted, and I'm not giving myself a full 1/4 of an inch to the left of this. I'm confusing myself. I have to take this out. I'm really sorry. We're taking it out because we're oh God. Because I'm distracting myself here. I'm not going to blame Julian. Oh, it was so great to meet you guys. Like, meeting people was so cool. I was really like inspired and enjoyed it very much. Okay, so I've noticed early on that I wasn't doing my full seam allowance, and I really need the full seam allowance, so I don't know why I didn't immediately stop. Because this is actually one of my least favorite things to unpick is flannel. You guys took some good classes too. On the last day, I really wanted to take a couple classes. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to do the show this time, but I want to do shows again. And I don't really want to have a booth there. I know I could, but I don't really have anyone to watch a booth. I know you guys would volunteer, but that's not the same thing. You're supposed to have a good time there. No, 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 no. That's not the thread I asked for. Holy, this became harder. Do you, Sydney? I love that. This is not the thread. This is not the thread. It's tricking me. I simultaneously would like to do more beginning content, or lean really heavily into more advanced stuff, and it's tricky. I just don't think there's enough advanced content out there sometimes, or just support for people who really want to like up things and explore different things. But I also don't want there to be like a barrier to entry, like to hang out and learn and be with other sewists here. I'd much rather it be like, I don't know, it's hard to do everything, you know? It's really hard to find advanced classes. Maybe though, if you went somewhere like the American Sewing Guild, Sydney, like the show, which just happened, but there's also like you know, like if you have a good chapter near you, like me, there are advanced groups. And I bet they stick to that. Like I've definitely been in spaces where the advanced content wasn't advanced, not about sewing, but just other things. And I think it's because someone along the line was like, well, this isn't fair to the person that wants to be here and doesn't have the skills, which I think it's totally fair. I don't know why anyone would say that, but I think that's what had happened in that group. It's not fair to the advanced people who are there for advanced stuff. Yeah, it limits the audience, and not that we have the hugest audience, but you know what I mean. Oh, really, Amy? I didn't know that. I thought that, Well, I'm kind of new to it, so I don't really know a whole lot. All right, we're close enough at the beginning that I always sing the chicken dance. That can't be a copyright strike, right? All right, let's do that again. Okay, flat felling, first seam. The reason I took that out is that I just didn't feel like it was accurate with my seam allowance, which will later limit how well I sew this. What I really need is to be like a 1/4 inch away from the stitching line that I just did, because that's a fold line. And just so you know, the sleeve goes onto the body. You know, most set-in sleeves, you press the seam allowance toward the sleeve, and with flat fell, you press it, well, you sew it onto the body, so it's the whole thing is up there, so it's a little different. That's also what makes it easier to be able to turn under the curve. Wait, where's my notch? Here's my notch. If you had to do this toward the sleeve, it would be even harder. It's a gorgeous day. Nice. Hi, Jackie. How's it going? Apple picker traffic. That sounds like an oxymoron. Whoops. My goodness. I really miss having an apple orchard. There were a couple of times where I was like, oof, this is just so much work. But for the most part, I would do it again. Definitely would do it again. Ooh, Sydney. That's pretty cool. Who puts it on? Donna, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Almost Sunday for you. Isn't it kind of late? All right, so here's my sleeve, right? We have this wrong sides together, right? I'm gonna trim the body side here down to a 1/4 inch, maybe a little under. Especially for those people that aren't used to your road, Jackie, I get it. I'll tell you what, you know that road they've been redoing in my area since the fire, the one that kind of drives me up here. And I only have a 5-mile drive, but it's like lately taking like 35 minutes because it's an escort only, because they're redoing the whole road. So they're burying all of the electricity up here. That's one thing. And then they're also, I'm not sure all the things they're doing for this particular road, but part of the problem with this road is there was no shoulder, and when people were escaping from the fire, it was probably one of the bottlenecks, right? And they're just making it. They're also making it so that in the winter, when it gets icy, it's not icy along the curves of this road, because it's like a kind of a drop-off thing. So they're doing a lot of really great things for this road, but it's taking a long time, like 2 years now, I think. I've been complaining about it. It's so close to being done. It's so nice too, like there's a shoulder on each side, so if you're a cyclist, you could ride up here. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. But occasionally in the like community group. The only reason I'm on Facebook is this community group because of fires and stuff. And someone was complaining about it recently, and I was like, you are not complaining about this road. It sounds like you've driven up to Paradise once, like in the last 2 years. Like, what? I've been doing this every day, and I haven't complained about it. All right, so here we go. So let's look at my hack job here. Let's trim this down a little bit better. I didn't shout them down, and because that group's, I would never, but that group is also very, very civil, which is great. But I did say, you know, it's really not that bad, and it's almost done. Oakley dokley. You're in bed. Ah. Okay. We're going to see if my little line of stitching is at all helpful. See the mood over here? I just like it. I just like it. I've been putting this thing in my little trash can cup, so it had the tape on it. So we'll just press it all first. This way. I kind of low-key forget that that stitch that seam I just sewed is visible to the at the end. Okay, but I think I put that in the wrong place. The logic wasn't logicking. Nah, I didn't put that in the right place. Well, shoot dang. Now we have a stitch there we're gonna have to take out. It's not helping me much. Camp is an arts education nonprofit. I have to take off. Okay. Roller skating, I love that. When I used to live in that tiny town, we had a roller rink of all things there. We didn't have a grocery store, but we had a roller rink. Oh my God, I just forgot Loki was here, and I just got a little bit like, what's that? I think he's having a dream. I don't really think button-ups are great TV. This is like, to me, I don't know, could I watch this? I was feeling a little lonely yesterday, and I realized I needed a live stream, so I looked for a live stream to watch of just anything. So maybe that's part of it. It's company. What is that sound? Maybe it's moisture outside. Beverly already did the timestamps for our first sewing stream for Thursday, which was really nice of her. And you're probably listening right now, Beverly, aren't you? But she said, I started watching kind of halfway through your stream, and you were showing the bias bars. And so then I watched the first half, and you were asking for like metal strips. It's kind of cool that the sewing fairy really had your back on that one. It was really funny, and what a coincidence that I was at the beginning going, I would really like some metal bars to press things against. And then I was like showing you guys the bias bars. So funny. I mean, I did remember going, oh wait, these are metal bars, but it did take me a while to connect that I had thought that. So funny. I think that is Loki making that noise. I think he's dreaming. All right. So if I were to do that stitch again, I would do it 1/4 inch away from the edge, not the 3/8. I'm fighting for my life with this, you guys. Let's trim down some of this here. Oh, you okay, buddy? What happened? Were you dreaming? Are you okay? Goodness. Yeah. Something's going on over there. He just jumped up. Noodle came in yesterday, and oh man, that cat. He didn't bring anything in, don't worry. No, he came in and something about his foot looked different, and so he was sitting there in front of me. It looked like one paw had an Ugg boot on. It was twice as big as the other one. It was very swollen. And he won't really let me investigate it. The swelling is down today, but I think he lost a toenail, like his thumbnail, if he had a thumb, you know, that one. Because as he was walking up to me, and I was like, that's weird. I've never noticed you're a 5-toed cat. I would have noticed that like right off the bat. And I was like, wait, but only one of your paws has 5 toes? No, it was that swollen. I thought he had 5 toes. Okay. Don't feel bad for him. He was probably harassing a squirrel or something. Or trying to go after baby quail. He's fine. He's a menace. I should rent him out. And today he was going crazy. We got, you know, 12 drops of rain, and he was a mess. He was just like, "Oh my God, the world is ending. It's that time of year." He was just meowing and meowing, asking to go in and out, getting mad at me because it was raining. I was like, dude, suck it up, Buttercup. So, you know. It's company. You don't know anyone that there is those. Nice. I know the feeling. There's something about a live stream rather than a recorded video that just feels different. It feels like more present. Like the news, you know? The news is, you know it's new. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, I'm almost done fiddling. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm going to see if I can just take out this. I dropped my all on my lap. I was trying to grab it. We'll get rid of this. It's helping a little, but it's completely visible. Nope. You are not the thread I'm looking for. I honestly can't find it. Oh my goodness. Well, this experiment was only half helpful. The thread color match is just way too good. Sheesh. Sheesh. Okay, let's try and make this one of the last ones we pull out. What are you guys all working on? Anyone starting their, if you're doing it, your holiday sewing? Wait, what about costumes? Are you guys doing costumes? Tell me. I want to know. I'm not doing anything, Julie. I'm just seam ripping. It's not riveting. Okay, I got rid of that stay stitch. Well, wish me luck. Let's see how this goes. I feel like maybe I could pin it a little bit. You know what I mean, jelly beans? I like that, Christina. No costumes. That's great, right? Why is there a thread there? Oh, there's not. I just see the needle holes from it. You just cleaned out your closet. Very exciting to sell that spacing. Ooh. Love that, Rachel. I think that my t-shirt drawer needs to have a reckoning. The one top I have two of that I think I'm gonna just have to let go, but I think is so cute is well, I'm really hoping this estuary skirt that I'm about to make in the corduroy will go with one of them, but it's the brattle top by Cashmerette. I think that top is so cute, but it's so short, like so short. And I made a rust colored one, and it'll be really cute with this estuary skirt if because skirts are a little higher. They have to go up higher unless you make the waist too big or large so it sits really low. So I'm kind of hoping that'll make that shirt wearable because I've never, ever worn it. I'm sewing for you, Monica. You refit a top last night and today you've been making templates for a way. Oh, I like that. That you're giving yourself a little breathing room. I think that's nice. They're like little palette cleansers and also sort of like give yourself a sense of accomplishment in between projects. I brought all my underwear back that we sewed a few weeks ago because the waistband, which was perfect on my test pair, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right. So I'm going to cut all those off and fix them. Yeah, I know. She's infectious that way, Terry. I totally agree. I would never wear that cardigan, but even I was like, huh. And I was like, no, you would not wear that. It's too close fitting. You're going to make your first pair of denim jeans. Ooh. What are you doing to balance your pattern, Rose? Because that's a pretty tricky endeavor sometimes if it's out of balance. That's exciting. Oh, you're going to make another Zacco paint. I like that one. That one also is a little low cut for me. I like that. I like anytime a t-shirt just doesn't look like a plain old t-shirt, but it's still as comfortable as one, you know? All right, here we are. At first you're going to be like, oh, she's got this, because this is the easy part down here. That's all bias right here. It's easy because it gets to stretch. It's when we get up here and we have extra fabric. It's not where we're fighting for fabric. It's where we have too much fabric. But I spent way more time on this than I usually do, so hopefully it's going to go well. Yeah, which jeans pattern are you making? Oh, I like that, Aisha. I like that. I think actually the low cut of that would be great because it'll keep you cooler if the wool's a little hot. I watched this one streamer that does that and it cracks me up the way he does it. He's always like when he's scared and running and nervous. That's me right now. What is balancing a pattern? You know, I know not enough pant fitters talk about it, but let's say you laid your pattern, your pant pattern, on the table in front of you, and you lined up the hems, right? It's not about the hem, but it kind of helps you. The crotch points should be in a line from one another. So if you were to draw a perpendicular line through your grain line of either pattern piece, it should bisect the crotch point of both patterns on the same axis. I never ask for forgiveness for ignorance. And I see people doing adjustments sometimes, like fitting experts, doing fitting adjustments on pants, and they will change something, and I'm like, oh, no, you can't do that because your crotch, it meets at the same spot on you, right? So if your one is like this, your body doesn't make that jog, right? The logic be logicking, right? So, all right. See, the more you whine, the easier it is. It's okay. I'm not the best, but you know, I did it. 7 out of 40, Monica. That's because 33 people are watching on TVs and they can't do it. On a YouTube app, you can, I think. Actually, I'm not sure if you can because I wanted to give a thumbs up or thumbs down to something today. I'm like, I don't want to see this again. And I couldn't do it, so. All right. Let's try this, the easing stitch one more time. But I'm going to put it 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. And I'm going to make it longer. We're learning. We're always evolving around here, right? I made it longer, so hopefully I don't regret not putting it in more sections. How you doing, Bubs? You okay? There's always going to be stuff to learn. I totally agree. I think when you're fitting anything, like sleeves or pants especially, it comes in waves. Like something will click and you'll be like, oh, okay, it finally makes sense. Like it's logical. And it's harder to forget once the logic kind of connects all the dots for you, right? And then, but something else will still elude you, and it's so frustrating because you're like, but I understand, I'm starting to understand this. Why don't these other like things click? Because I go through this often, and it's like, why doesn't, if I understand this, and I'm in the mood, I want this, like I want to understand this thing. Why isn't the rest of it clicking for me? And then you start doubting that one thing that has, you know, even though it was kind of a big thing, and you know in your heart and you know, like you've cross-checked it, you've done the math backwards, you know, or whatever you used to do in school. You know, like you start doubting it. And then one day, all of a sudden, another part of the puzzle just kind of clicks again. And then that just keeps happening, and it keeps happening for different things. Even when you know how to do everything, that stuff still happens for me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you know? So it feels good. It does. So yeah, I think that you can get to a point where you'll be like, oh, I know how to do this. But you could also feel like, okay, but I still need to kind of think about it. And then you're going to get to a point where you're like, oh, I can do this without thinking. But you're always going to be on your toes because our bodies change. You know, I'm just kind of checking this, making sure I didn't pull this stitch too much because I don't really want to ease it on. We drafted some of the ease out, remember? All right. Yeah, Julie. Oh, yeah, when you get a new job, that is so true. I feel like it takes like, it's like 2.5 months, and you're like, okay, I know what to do when I arrive here. I know how to do the things. I don't have to ask anybody. I know how to find things. I know how to operate this program. And then they all know that, all your coworkers. They also know you don't know hardly anything yet. And then they start giving you harder things to deal with. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. I was just starting to feel okay. Come on, full 5/8, baby. Come on, stop it. Talking to myself here. You know, I keep meaning, I'm sure Julian's not here anymore, but if he is, shout out to Julian, because he has a podcast with Oh my goodness, I'm spacing her name, but her Instagram is Needle in the Bell. I really like her. And they have a podcast on YouTube. And I really want to watch it. Okay. I don't watch a lot of, or listen or watch to many sewing things, I will admit. I just don't. It's not my hobby. I love this. Monica's like, yeah. Enabling Terry. Terry, who has a, didn't even know till recently, she has a, that people made a hashtag in my community about her. Terry made me do it, or Terry enabled me or something. I love that Monica's doing it now. Aronica Cole, thank you. Oh my goodness. I met her at Sew Expo. She taught like 11 classes. I was so impressed. Like, teach me your ways. How do you have the stamina? I could have definitely taught more though. Like, I definitely felt like, okay, I'm here. I'm amped. And I'm so prepared. Just give it to me. Okay, so, oh, look. See, it's already wrapping around it. That was the better. Look at that. Look at that. Watch, it just goes blurp. You did. Do I have one? I actually shudder to think what mine is. Oh my, I feel like, Terry, you are the type of person that once you start sewing knits, it's going to be like unleashing the beast. You're going to be like, wait a minute. Why haven't I been doing this? This one's going to go a lot faster. We don't have to seam rip 2 rows of stitching like I did on the last one. Okay, so these really thick ones, sometimes I trim, like these junctures where the yoke seam is, I sometimes trim that down more because it'll still feel the same width once I wrap it. So hear me out. I would really like some more like sew-in labels in my life that are, for lack of a better description, gender neutral. Meaning I want to be able to put them in, like right now I'm struggling to put labels in to my dad, my brothers, and my husband's shirts because all I have really is mine. And I don't really want to put my label in their shirts with my weird little face. It just seems really weird to do that with your family members. Like Michael, fine, but I don't know. And then the only other labels I have are like I'm not putting this in my brother's or my dad's shirt. Even this, it's just, I'm not going to put that. It's cute, but I just wouldn't put that. Or this, right? This maybe if it were just like the colors could match more things. Like maybe if this was like black and white, I would totally do that. Just because it just clashes, and that's all I have left really. I have a few maybe others. So I would really like some labels that are, well, I've always loved made here. That was part of my slogan when I had chicken boots. And it had a little American flag under it, and it said made here. And because I'm really passionate about domestic manufacturing. But I've also thought about doing a whole series where it's like a little beach scene and it says made here, you know, like when you're hand stitching at the beach. Or inside of a car, you know, on a road trip, or at a retreat, or whatever, or different states, or something like that. Or just doing something like man-made, you know, or I don't know. I have all these ideas. The thing is, it costs so much to get enough labels. Like, I could just buy 10, but it would cost me $100 or something. It's not that much, but it's close. When I could get 300 for $100, you know, $150 or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking this. Distracted usually has good lip. Oh, okay, okay. Wait, I'm looking back at chat right now. Monica's not a beginner. That's her little ploy. Everyone's enabling Terry. Ooh, it's paybacks in the chat. I'm loving it. Oh, intensely distracted is the name. Okay. I missed the word intensely the first time. Yeah, and so I guess what I was thinking is, what if I came up with a few designs and pre-sold them? Kind of just like, I don't care about making money. I just would like some. And what if we just went in on it? You guys pay for the labels and shipping, you know? If you want to pay me a little bit, I will package them nicely. Otherwise, they're just going to get thrown in an envelope and sent to you. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just want some things that are more versatile, that aren't color specific as well. My ego is not in people knowing I made something. I just want something said. And I want the colors to be more versatile. And I think maybe even having a white background and a natural background will look better, because like this one, I think this doesn't look great. The green scissors save it, but if it had been on this side, it's okay, but it's so white. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I should just do the heat transfers instead, because I can get a whole sheet and I can design each label on it unique. Maybe that's actually what I should do. That's a lot less work probably. Sewn by committee. And not scratchy. I agree with that. All right. Let's see. I think the line of stitching was kind of nice. I think I'll start doing that on the Fairfields. Like on the tropical shirt, it's not a problem at all. It's just these with a slightly curvier cap. I do have a flat fell foot, by the way. I keep meaning to bring it here to play around with you guys. Oh, I can see that stitching line. I can still see my row of stitching here. You like that? I just pulled it out. Where's my awl? I really want a series that say man-made, but I don't know if that would bug people, because, you know I'm not a man, but I'm a human. I could say human-made. I don't know how much use I'm getting out of this stitch if I keep pulling it out. Yeah, I like a variety. Me too. Yeah, I missed what's happening. You guys were talking about a machine or something today in the chat. And I was distracted. There was someone coming over to the house a tree fell on our garage. And we just needed to get it off before it hurt the garage. I do think that stitching helped. You know, like, I think what I would do is put the line of stitching in, draw it up, sew the seam, iron it, pull out the stitching, and then go to sew. Instead of figuring out when I get here that I need to undo it right now, you know? Because it is a nice, it made it behave, it made the ironing a lot easier. Just like it would on any curve, but I just wasn't sure on the sleeve cap. It's so much fabric sometimes. Oof. There. Singer 99K sewing machine for anniversary. Aww. I love that. He got you a project and you liked it. I feel like I've seen the 99K. Something for a label with couturier in the wording but gave up. Ooh. I think it could be, what if it was like couturier? You could put Terry after the C-U-T-E-R-R-I-E-R. That seems so easy. Another hobby. a little, look at it, it's wiggly though. I don't like that. We have to fix it, sorry crew. We have to fix it. We're gonna start here. Just, oh geez. I was pushing hard thinking I missed the stitch while I looked over here. Just this area here. I cannot even begin to tell you the wordsmith I live with. So it's made me better at stuff like that because I have to stay a step ahead. Sometimes I'll say something and as soon as I hear it come out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, I just set myself up so bad for that, you know? You know? He's so clever. Oh. Okay, wait, where did I make that first cut? Was it down here? Oh, shoot. Was it up here? I can't see it. Is it here? This is it. Nope. Oh my goodness. This is not the thread we want to pull. We'll just keep going down this way. We'll find it. Very thick through here. Just don't want to grab the plaid. That's how runs happen. You know, we don't want that, right? I did some meal prep last night and I was kind of excited about the meal, and it was kind of like meh. It was like these balsamic glazed chicken breasts with roasted veggies, and I also made some brown rice to go with it. And I don't know, maybe because I didn't have cherry tomatoes for the roasted veggies, maybe that's the key. It tasted kind of, I don't know. It tasted kind of boring, to be honest. But I finished my fajita bowls that I made for this week already. Oh my gosh, sorry guys. I feel like I cut this somewhere along here. I'm just gonna pull on it. Okay, I think maybe I made it to there. Is this it? Anyway. Can't it be both? Oops. I mean, if the power's out and you want a way to sew, hand cranks are good. I know someone who brings one on her camping trips. And she just sews at the campground. For me, that's just too much schlepping. I will just bring a different hobby. I also don't want to talk about it with people at the campground. Yeah, there you go, Terry. I like it. You could just do a capital T right there. Couturier, you know? It might be all in like the font you pick and what you're doing with it. Let's see if we can smooth out some of these bumps and not put them back in. I just ran out of bobbin. That looks way better. Okay. We can do something else. I'm so Where's my backstitch threads? I don't even see them. Right, Michelle? Exactly. Okay, so now we can do our underarm seams. Only time you ever see me not set a sleeve in, too. Okay, and Nancy, here's the last bit of plaid matching for you if you're still here. Okay, so we're going to do the whole underarm, and we're going to go front to back. This is right sides together. We don't want to do that. Wait. No, we do. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Phew. Got a little nervous there. Like this. Okay. We want to go front to back. So I'm going to sew it from the top side. This will be the seam allowance that shows. Night, Malin. Sleep well. Have a good weekend, Malin. I love it, Nancy. Nancy is now devoted to critiquing my thumbnails, and I would really appreciate that. I really like the whole YouTube thing in some ways. Like how do I put this? I find it fascinating. I do not put myself in that whole arena of people that are gonna be like big YouTubers. And I just say that because, like, if you look at any kind of content surrounding building a YouTube channel, it's never directed at somebody who does DIY or sewing for sure, or tutorials. It's not to say that there aren't really big channels like that. Like, I get it, but I watch this one channel, which I just find really interesting. It's also a really good pop culture kind of way to keep kind of like hearing what's popular or not. And I watch this one channel, and it's two guys named Colin and Samir, and I really like a lot of the interviews they do, and I've never heard of some of these people. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like this gal is so sciencey. She's doing some really cool stuff, and they're not really talking about their subject matter. They're talking about like how'd they get there, right? And these guys know a lot about all the stuff about YouTube, and they're young guys, you know. They never ever do DIY. I mean, they may have someone like, I don't know, Hank Green on there, but that's going to be a little different. But where I'm going with this is that the big struggle with YouTube channels, like regularly, is the thumbnail. There is so much talk and effort over thumbnails. And you might even notice, like, say someone you're subscribed to has a new video, and you don't click on it right away because maybe you're just on YouTube for 5 seconds or whatever. You're not really in the space to open that video right now. And like 2 days from now, you open your YouTube again, and you see that same video, but it has a different thumbnail, because some channels are allowed to upload a few, and it's like a beta test. So whichever thumbnail gets the most clicks within a certain amount of time, they'll make that the thumbnail. It's really interesting. So like the science behind it's really interesting, and you'll see a lot of like memes, like someone climbing up a mountain, and it'll be like the first little like notch of the mountain. It'll be like, you know, filming the video, you know, and then the next notch is editing the video, and the next notch is publish the video, and then the next notch is like 10 times larger than the other 3 put together, and it's creating the thumbnail. So I don't spend a lot of time on my thumbnails. I don't beta test. I don't do any of that. I just pick something that's clear and concise, and they've changed a lot over the years. So that's why I asked you guys the other day, because I don't think about it. I think about it, but I don't think about it, you know? So it's interesting, and it's interesting to me hearing these people talk about this, because I'm just like, oof, I'm really glad I don't have to worry about that. If I did, maybe my channel would grow, but I don't really. I'm not going to spend all my waking time figuring that stuff out. A YouTube generated thumbnail. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that just use the YouTube generated, and they are really funny sometimes. That's true. Where it catches you. And YouTube generated thumbnails, like when I upload a video, before I upload a thumbnail, YouTube picks a screen capture from the first few minutes of the video, and sometimes I'm like, oh no, we're not picking that. So it is kind of funny. But, you know, like some channels do really, really good, and I think it is because of that YouTube generated thumbnail. And I think one of them is Lauren Mormino. Well, she gets a lot of views, and she doesn't waste her time on a thumbnail, and her views are like way over mine. You know, it's working for her. So I find it interesting because I'm just a very, very curious person, and I've never thought about like, oh, when we get our first 1,000,000 subscribers, no, that's never probably going to happen to me. I just made a big old chunk there. But the other day, for the very first time ever, I was like, you know, I'll bet I could calculate when my channel will hit 100,000 subscribers based on the very few years I've been doing this, 6 years, right? So it took me like 3 years to get to 10K, I think. I can't remember. Wasn't it like 10K for 3 years? And then I doubled. It might have been more than that. It might have been like 4 years for 10,000 subscribers. And by the way, subscribers don't really, like that's not the best metric for your success. But anyway, I figured it out. I was like, well, by this metric, if I were to like do it based on like how long it took me to get where I'm at now in 6 years, how many more years would it take for me to get to 10K? And it was like 10 more years. So, you mean Rachel Mormino? Does she rent her studio? Oh, that's cool. She's in Missouri. I saw her at Sew Expo. She does not know who I am. But I saw her in her booth. She has a big booth and she sells all the bag making supplies. So yeah. The sewing machine talk. It's like Terry's love language. Yeah, that's why the thumbnail changes. That would be pretty neat. She has industrials. Not that I would think she would ever allow us to use her machines. I don't actually know what she does. Is she a bag manufacturer who live streams doing inventory sometimes? Is that how she does that? I've watched her sometimes. She's got such a chill vibe. Sometimes she just ignores chat, and I'm like, huh, this is awesome. They are your love. They really are, Terry. I think that someday you're going to have some again. I love cutting this flannel. It's so satisfying. Okay. What's up, Babito? You sleepy pug? Let's try and go a little faster through this section here. If you want, I could just do one all the way through and then the hems. That way, you don't have to be here for the whole thing. You want a climate controlled she shed, and we are not settling for anything less, Terry. FYI. Look at all this. This is all the stuff that's cut. The side seam is more on grain right here, so there's a lot of fray. A lot of fraying. This is the easiest kind of plaid matching, flat felled seams, because you can just kind of go, I'll just wiggle it this way or that way, you know? Yeah, you definitely, it makes a really big difference. Your patterns alone would suffer. Yeah, that's awesome, Nancy. Yeah, I am not surprised you liked restoring them a little bit. I mean, that could be its own hobby. I know people who do that just as a hobby, you know. I'm just going to trim this down a little bit more here at this juncture, so I can wrap around it a little easier. This is a nice long straight seam, but the drawback is that it gets really tight in the in the sleeve, obviously. Yep, exactly. It really would be problematic. It sounds like he needs a shed. I think that you don't need your garage or your driveway. And we're expanding the house, Terry. That's the plan. I think we need to expand the house. Do you have like an attic? Homes in California are so different, and like, it's like anytime I see homes in movies, I'm like, that's so unrealistic. We don't have basements. We can have basements. It's not like they're unheard of, but they're very old houses usually. And same with attics. We're just like all above ground, just set there, spread out. Ranch style homes. See, maybe Nancy's right about the bias bars here. I wonder if that would work. Maybe you need a second floor. Like the house I used to live in before this one, they added like a little master bedroom above the garage. And then there was a stairwell that went along the front of the house. It looked very natural. It was a really big master bedroom too. It was kind of an L-shaped. It was too big for us, so I had like a little office in the corner and a little family room. Yeah, the attic can be a little hot, but at the same time, like, you could just work around that the best you can. They sell a lot of those like sheds here, but I feel like those are directed at people who lost their homes in the fire, so they have a place to store things and stuff and stage things for like rebuilding. Because those, I mean, I know people use those for she sheds and he sheds and whatever, but they're really hard. They're not very big. Oops. And they're really hard to climate control. And you have way more humidity than we do. It's kind of wavy right there. I'm excited to see what you do with them, Nancy. I probably could use them here. I just think they'd get really hot. And right now I'm trying to, I don't want to learn something new right now. I want to just get going on this. Sometimes I think about like things I would do if I sewed these for a living, and this is one of them. I would probably make my seam allowance right here at this juncture wider because it's so hard to trim this down anymore. I could trim it down a little bit more. Where'd those scissors go? They fell on the ground and I don't want to get those. I could trim it a little bit more. You gotta be careful with these scissors. They're so dang sharp, they'll grab anything and cut. That'll give me more space. Yeah, I used to work, one of the places I worked was, the factory was on site, and there were two 25,000 square foot industrial buildings, right? And you know how those industrial buildings, like they have an office area, and then it's just, and the rest of the building is like industrial space. So the one building was our factory, and then there was like offices attached to it. And then the other building was our shipping and office attached to it. And the offices on the shipping side were the people who dealt with orders and shipping and customer service, right? But also that was the building that the owner had his office in. And all of us, the design crew, the pattern drafters, we were in there too. But we were in the industrial space where all the product was. We were like this little carved out corner. And it wasn't very pleasant because everything was always dusty out there, even though all the product was out there, you know. It wasn't super dusty, but it was dusty. And there were a lot of little heat thingies for winter time. But for me, the worst part was all of our patterns hung out there with us. And the patterns, when they're like the manila paper are out there in an area that's not climate controlled, the texture of the paper changes. It gets kind of like mottled and scratchy because, you know, it gets humid or whatever. And that wasn't in a very humid place. You know, that was just Southern California, inland, you know. And so and then like, but say like it rained outside. It's not that it would rain inside, right? It was perfectly dry, but the humidity would make the paper very subtly shrink up a little bit, you know, and then it would dry and it would get like, you know, it's like when you spill something on a piece of paper. That's what would happen to all of our patterns. It was awful. And then they moved us over into the offices of the factory side. That was better, but that's also where I worked, where they would lock us in the design room from the outside. We couldn't get out. Crazy times, man. So yeah, just, you know. And then we would store like our old patterns and archive patterns out in the industrial area, but nothing we were working on currently. We'd have like a few seasons. Oh, that sounds great, Monica. That sounds amazing, Monica. My office mate, he's so nice. He's always asking, okay, if you could have anything here, what would it be? Like, is it the floor done? The ceiling's done? Is it knocking out the walls between your offices? You know, stuff like that all the time. And I never even know what to say with that because I just don't expect anything. But he's cleaning out he has all of his like tools and shelving in this one of the medical offices. And was going to clean it out. He said, you know, once this is cleaned out, you could use this as another office to edit in. I was like, oh, I probably wouldn't though, because it's, I don't have another computer for that. I'm using my streaming computer. And he was like, what could we use this for? I'm like, what about a break room? And he was like, huh, because I don't have anywhere to like sit and eat. I can just sit at my desk or my sewing machine. And so that idea really grabbed hold of him, and he's really been enjoying like redoing that little, like he's been emptying it out and getting ready to redo it. And it's going to be his place where he experiments. He's an architect, so he experiments with like a different brand of whatever in there, whatever it's like he was into the architectural felt, you know, or I don't know, architect stuff. You know, and he'll like play around with paint or color schemes or decorating and stuff. Yeah, oh, absolutely, Monica. Absolutely. Most considerate person. Very, very, very considerate, yeah. You guys see okay? Just, this is the sleeve, so I'm just, you know, I scrunch, 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 sew, 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 scrunch, 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 sew, sew, sew. It gets really bad, and then it just gets, and you're done. We're almost there, though. This is when everyone with a free arm is laughing their heads off at me, right? Although you can't really, a free arm was not going to help you with this. Yeah, there's plenty of space for the two of us. I feel like he could just clean that space up and rent it out, but he's like, nope, I don't want to do that. It's hard enough getting him to charge me rent. Okay. That wasn't bad, huh? One more. Ooh, we are home stretching it. Oh, I know, Monica, right? I agree. I think it's just one of those things where, you know how sometimes you really want to pin the whole seam, whatever you're sewing, it doesn't have to be this, but like you want to pin the whole thing, but you just can't kind of pin the whole thing. And it's one of those things where you want to scrunch the whole thing and have it all done. Look at how wavy I am right here. That's so annoying. But you just shouldn't. You just got to scrunch, sew, scrunch, sew, scrunch, sew. I probably could have matched my plaid better there. This is where I really like to make sure I get this little edge here turned under really good, because this is exactly what pops out. And you'll be standing in line at the grocery store next to your husband going, I made everything we're both wearing. And then you look at his sleeve and you see a raw edge and you're like, I don't know where I bought this shirt. Like, look at this terrible craftsmanship. Nobody knows. Oh yeah, like, oh, I'm not saying like you should pin this. I'm just saying it's like one of those things, one of those spaces where you want to pin and you just can't pin everything until you're like close to it or something. Yeah, I think pins here, it would just annoy me. They'd be poking me. And I really hate being poked by pins. Like it really, I hate that feeling. I didn't run out of bobbin, did I? It's so suddenly quiet. I was like, oh, I ran out of bobbin. Just make sure you don't catch any part of the shirt. Are we sewing? We are. Okay. Maybe it's just muffled. I am so doubtful right now. It is sewing, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Like, right, Monica? Stop picking. Yeah, it's only, well, I don't go many places, you guys. If you ever visit me, you'll see Boy, she wasn't lying. There's nowhere to go here. Oh, I did run out. Right there. Chin hairs you blame on other people. Like, come on. You didn't tell me about this? Because you can't see them at every angle. That's their fault. Okay, this is at least I didn't pull this all out first. I'm going to try and do my little sewing sample here. Oops. Okay, I thought that fell on him. Where is it? Here it is. He doesn't notice, I know. I had a little talk with Michael the other day. I was like, okay, there was this one time, a really long time ago, shortly after Cricket was born, maybe like a year, within a year. And I don't know how it all came about. And my friend was in the car with us. She was in the passenger seat. I don't even remember who it was. And I was just saying something like, I think I really need new jeans. And he said something like, he was like, yeah, I think those jeans are officially mom jeans or something. I don't remember what he said. He said it in the nicest possible way because Michael's super nice. That has stuck with me to this day. And I was like, wait, what else? What else do you know? Like, what else should I not be doing? So I had a little talk with him the other day. I'm like, you remember that one time you told me about my jeans were kind of time to retire them? And they really did need to be retired. He was like, no. I was like, well, you need to do that now. Like, you would do that, right? But what else are you not saying? Yeah. But I don't think they notice. It's just that familiarity. I actually had this panic with him because he was getting ready for this trip. And, you know, he used to travel a lot. But it's been a couple of years. And then there was the panini right in between. So he hasn't traveled as much the last few years as he used to. But he would travel a lot. And I saw him pulling out his clothes. And he was kind of staging and practice packing. And he's traveled internationally. And so I was looking at his piles of clothes. And I was like, he's not bringing his shorts. Some of these shorts he's been wearing for so long. But I only ever see him at the house because he's been working at home for so long, or he's been home for so long, that I don't know like what he's been wearing out into the world. I don't see him. I'm here. And his place of employment isn't here, so he doesn't dress for work. I don't see how he dresses there. He's going on this picture. He's going to meet his new employee, like the parent company. And I was like, babe, do you need new pants? Like, what's your pants situation? Because it's like full on fall and cooler there. So I knew I was hoping he wasn't bringing shorts. I'm like, you're not bringing your shorts. He's like, no, I'm not bringing my shorts. It's too hot, too cold there. I was like, yeah, but they're actually not presentable anymore. I don't know if you know this, but I don't think I noticed it till recently. I started panicking like, what about me? What am I wearing like that? All right, so we have a cuff. Cuff. There we go. You got to help each other out, you know. All right, here is the pleat. Oh, I'm getting hungry. I need to wrap this up. Eat my lame meal prep meal. Or maybe treat myself to something because today's my treat day. Not as in dieting, but just as in me and Rayanne used to have something called Fun Friday, and this is my Fun Friday. We always brought in something to the office for each other to share. It was fun. It was Fun Friday. This is my Fun Friday. Okay, we're just walking the cuff just to see how much pain are we in. And this cuff's kind of big. Okay. All right, so I always start from the inside of the cuff and go to the outside. So we're gonna do that. Wish I could match my plaids, but not gonna happen. Oh, I'm sure there were days where Rand wished she did not work for me. But we did have fun. Like, I really liked working with Rayanne, and we were very similar in a lot of ways, so that was really helpful. I've definitely employed people where it felt like there was a little more distance between us. And, you know, rightfully so. Like, they don't need to be my friend, right? They're not like my playmate or someone to boss around or whatever, right? And I was very proud that I could employ people, but it's not like they were making a ton of money working for me, you know? So I was very generous with Rayanne, especially. Like, her fridge would break down. I'd be like, here, you know, take this, because I could, but I personally, I don't think that's as helpful as getting salary is. Like, if you're ever, this is unsolicited advice, if you're ever in a situation where your boss gives you bonuses and never gives you raises, try and stop that, because say you want to buy a house, you can't write bonuses down. They are imaginary money, and so it doesn't look like you're making as much as you really are. Because me and Michael have both worked for someone who used to do that. Oh, but you get bonuses. We're like, yeah, we can't buy a house or cars with a bonus. And so I always tried to be cognizant of that, you know, so. Okay, let's look at this. This pleat is so far away from the placket. Doesn't that seem so far away? It's also off kilter. Let's fix that. I should have pre-sewed it and I didn't. Yeah, maybe. I could have definitely used some boss training, but I did try my best. I really did. Okay. And there's certain things I look back on and I'm like, oh, I could have done that better, you know? And we still talk. I haven't talked to her in a bit, but we still talk. I went to her wedding, you know, which was cool. I'd love to know what they're up to. She's very creative. Her husband is very smart and creative as well. They really could, like, open a business and do all of it themselves. They're so clever that way. Doesn't that pleat look really far away? Right? It's so far away. That looks so weird. Does that not look weird to you guys? I think of this pleat, usually I think of this and then the pleat, they are so if you have two pleats, I think of it as intervals, and they're evenly spaced, and they're supposed to look like 1, 2, 3, not this big gap. I don't like that. I'm gonna move it. Remind me how much I move it for the other one. Okay, let's just, what do we think? So I think this would look better like way over here. Let's take out a little bit more here. Oh, 1.5 inches? I think that was easily 2.5. Let's double check though, I could be wrong. That was over here. Maybe you're right. From the opening, oh yeah, we're way, way, way far away. Ooh, the air conditioning just turned on. Maybe like right here. I think that looks more proportional. Let me pin it, see what you guys think. Oh, I hope there's some of you at the end to help me pick out buttons for my blazer, because I'm struggling. And that's all it needs. It's done. It's sitting right here. All the pick stitching, hand sewed a lot. Okay, so here's my, oh yeah, I like that way better. What do you guys think? I'm trying to hide this. Yeah, the hand sewing sigh. Terry made me do it. No, I was teasing. I do notice the pick stitching, so yay. You know the funny thing, do you guys ever imprint on something, a project, by whatever book you were listening to or show you were listening to? Unfortunately for me, this blazer is all Menendez and Jeffrey Dahmer. And I do think I think of it every time. Okay, what is this? So my pleat is ending 3/4 of an inch from the seam edge right here. All right. All right, so let's, okay, so one of my tips with sewing cuffs is when you fold this, so remember I did this is the inside of my sleeve. And now I'm going to fold this and finish the right side onto the right side. So when I fold and sew these ends first, okay? And it really should be like right around that, the interfacing line, right? One thing I do is I make sure I'm getting straight. Like I want this placket to be parallel to this edge here. But I do not turn this edge under when I do this. There is a, it makes it you'll get a nicer finish if you don't do that. So yeah, it's my murder blazer, exactly. So leave that edge undone. And we'll just sew right next to our placket. Right there, see? Unless I left this edge undone. If you fold this edge down and sew it, you sometimes really shortchange yourself later on and it won't look very good. You'll have some trouble getting it to look nice. All right, I'm just gonna trim this down because it's a little too wide. I'm not gonna trim that off though. I'm just gonna straighten that edge right there. All right, and so now let's do this one. So one thing we want to look at is our cuff width from side to side, right? And I'm looking at this seam here and this seam here. We're going to just try and do our best from the get-go, but we're going to check it again. And now again, I am making sure this placket is like in alignment of that edge. I keep going over here to backstitch because of my home machine now. All right. I'm going to also see if this is folded on the same plaid, and it is. Okay. Again, no, so now I'm going to just fold this. I'm going to fold the point here. This is a pretty easy cuff to turn because it doesn't have a seam on the where we have the fold line now, right? Oh yeah, that'd be nice. You got cufflinks? That's fun. All right, so now we're gonna check our sleeve cuff, and now we're also gonna check our placket opening. This is a little awkward, so we want to straighten out this placket here and make sure that our cuff is going to line up here. So we have that. That seam looks like it's lining up, but it does look further away over here. So let's make sure nothing's distorted before we panic, right? So just kind of pre-press it a little bit, give it some good tugs. So if it was like this, how does that feel? There's that seam and that seam. I think we're going to be okay. All right, so now we're going to just press this really quick. Press this edge first. This flannel is like a dream. I barely need to do anything to it. It's great. And I'm just kind of giving this a tug, like, because of this seam right here. We don't want the sleeve to blump over it, you know, on the inside. And also look at it here. I like the way this plaid looks on the inside. In fact, wait, isn't that... Wait, did I put my cuffs on wrong? Oh my goodness, I think I did. Like, I'm fine with this plaid like this, but I'm pretty sure I meant for this to be on the outside. I really like the way that looks. I was so careful, but obviously not careful enough. I got to make sure the other one matches. All right, so now we're just going to fold this under, just past that seam we sewed. Now here is why I don't pre-fold this right here. If this was pre-folded, if it didn't line up right here, it's so hard to get it correct. And what I like to do is wrap this around the seam allowance here like this. It'll enclose it and makes it so much cleaner. It's hard to tell how it would have looked the other way because you're seeing it the nice way. Like when I just did that little demo, that was not how it would look. It would be really hard. You'd have like raw edges right here because the seam would have been turned back first. Just going to put in a couple of pins. I always open this up like this, fold this down. I kind of just I place it where I want it. When plaid is cut nice, it makes things so much easier. It's like, oh, I'll just iron it along this line. Oh yeah, Christina, right? I know that's the thing is like, They can be your best friend and your worst enemy. Yeah, you can't Hi, Amy. You're back. Yeah, you can't fix the discrepancy. Exactly. All right, so now don't stitch from here across if you want the whole cuff top stitched. If you don't, then yes, you will have to start at the end. But I like to start in the middle where the underarm seam is, which is right over here. I'm just going to put another pin. So if you don't have plaid, like I'm kind of benefiting from the plaid, I also like to do this thing where I pin. I know probably nobody does this even though I do, but it makes a big difference. Like if you get this edge nice and you pin over here, now you can pull on this and you won't over rotate it, which can make your cuff torque a little bit, right? So now I have that, and then I'm just gonna put one pin here, and we already turned this inside out. Okay, so I'm stitching on the inside here, and I'll start near my underarm seam just because it's whatever, it's a spot. This is the right side, so everything is going to show, but we've already sewn the undersides, so we're not worried if we're going to catch it or not. That's the beauty of this. You're fine, Jackie. I like to push the cuff that way a little bit, like over rotate it, because my presser fit's going to push it off the edge potentially. The paybacks for all the plaid matching are coming in now. Okay, we need to do a little like flippy-do here. There we go. I'm not really the best top stitcher. I'm really good at fabric handling, but I agree, my stitching could be a little better. Get rid of this thread here. There we go. Oh. There we go. Sometimes we don't catch the inner cuff like today. I caught it right there, but it doesn't matter. It's already sewn in. You know? Yeah, we need solid. Okay. Let's make sure I get this pleat in the same place. Here, I'll just put a little cut here. Yeah, look, I did. I interfaced the wrong side on the other one. Huh. Do I just leave that and use this as my outer cuff? Do you think I would notice the difference? I don't really notice it here. I kind of do. Shoot, dang. I thought I was careful. I wasn't careful enough. Yeah, no. So many pattern pieces with this pattern. stand, collar, button, placket. Where is it? Oh. Okay. You would leave it? Oh, too late. Oh! Sorry. Sorry, Loki. Did I scare you, bubs? That was my little iron stand. Maybe we have a piece of scrap we could use. These are the kinds of things, like when you're at the end of a long sewing project, you can't think, just do it. Like, don't think, because it's so discouraging sometimes, and you're just like, oh, I just want to be done. Or don't fix it, you know, like you don't have to fix it either. But sometimes when you just know something and you're just sitting there like, oh, you know you're going to do it. Don't think, just do, just act. Or at least take it apart, whatever it is that you made the mistake on. Take it apart and then leave it ready to go so that you don't have to deal with it later. At least you can come back to it and it's ready to go. What side did I fuse? This side, okay. I need something new to watch, a new series. You know what I want? This is what I want. I don't like romance, by the way. Okay, so let's just cut that out. I mean, it's fine if it's like, I don't mind like a fun little movie. That's fine. That's fine. I want a series though, and I want something in like something modern day in like a city. I want to feel a part of the world. Does that make sense? I'm craving that kind of thing. I want to feel like I'm part of the world. Like, what's happening out there? Slow horses, really? Michael was watching that. I have no idea what that's about. I like obtuse things. Nothing too obtuse right now. Either. Okay, so this time I'm gonna even this out while I'm sitting here. Cause see how that's not even? Cozy Mystery's okay. Oh, I've watched all those. I used to have an Acorn subscription and only watch Acorn and PBS for like years. Years. I can actually catch up on a lot of that because I just finally, like, there was nothing to watch. Vandervalk. Okay. Okay. Where's that at? I'll tell you what I have. Don't judge me. I have a sports person in the house, so we have a lot of services. I have Prime. I have Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV. That's it. Oh, I have Peacock or Paramount. I have one of those. I used to have PBS Passport. I don't have it anymore. I love that. I love PBS Passport. It's great. My only gripe with it is that it's impossible, almost impossible to cancel it. and I had a lot of trouble, and that makes me mad when it's hard to do stuff like that. So I won't sign up for it again, probably. Okay, so this is the inside of my sleeve. Oh, so I might have both then, Amy. Amy knows the soccer subscriptions I benefit from. Oh wait, where's my pleats? Okay. So I feel like I had to trim off a little bit of that cuff. So let's see, it was this much. So that would be, make it right here. I'm just trying to determine the length of the cuff, because remember I trimmed a little down. Why is that so much closer this time? Huh. If you're going to do Acorn again, then Doc Martin, I've watched that whole series too. Oh, I love Star Trek. That's what I watch on Paramount. I have Paramount because I can watch Star Trek. Under the Vines. Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay. My goodness. Not a city show though, okay. Like I watch Suits, but oh, it's so repetitive. And they don't even leave the office. You know? Like when it dawned on me that we never leave the office, except to go to a hot dog cart occasionally, I'm like, come on. Give me more of the world. You know? A girl needs to feel she's a part of the world. Not a hot dog cart. Just checking my cups. Okay. My Life is... Oh, I love Lucy Lawless. I didn't know she had a show. My Life is Murder. Is that an act, like a series? Like, it's not about true crime, is it? Like the name of it sounds like she's hosting something and they're going over murders or something. I used to love Xena Warrior Princess. Oh my goodness, when that show was on, I loved it. I'm watching Rings of Power right now. But I'm watching that with Michael, so I gotta wait. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, in Melbourne. Okay, that actually sounds very promising. I like this. I haven't been to Melbourne. Cool. I know I can count on you. I know the Agatha one sounds good, but I don't have Disney. Actually, I take that back. I think I do have Disney and I didn't know it. Is there soccer on Disney? There's a second season, Monica. I'm late to it because I forgot we had Prime. I think Prime is one of the worst things to navigate, so I get so frustrated I stopped watching things on it. The Rings of Power is a little slow for Michael. He's just like, nothing's happening. I'm like, it's J.R. Tolkien. I mean, come on. You know, it's all subtle. You gotta hang in there. And then all of a sudden, bam, everything happens. That show is, the production value is so good. The costumes, so good. Although, if you watch Rings of Power, and you're in the first season at the end, and they all have their armor and from Numenor, did you guys notice that their shirts underneath their armor are knit shirts and the armor motif is printed on it? So they have their like breastplates and they have their arm guards and stuff. Sorry, I don't know armor lingo. But under it looks like they have like whole bodies of armor. It's printed on there. And you can tell, especially because if you look at their armpit, because you'll see it wrinkled. I was like, that's clever. The printing is incredible. It's the exact same colors, and it looks three-dimensional because it looks like scales. You guys have to check it out. Just even looking for images. The armor of the Numenor in the first season in the battle against the orcs and things. It's good. Like, the costumes are really good. You know, like how it takes so long for the next season now? Like, too long, I forget why I watched it. There's only 2 seasons. I've heard the second season's better, so I'm really glad to hear that because I've liked it, but there's so many story threads going on that it's slow moving because you're just constantly like ooching along one story a tiny, tiny bit because you know, and each episode is so long, he's like, we need to take a break. He doesn't have the stamina for it. It's kind of funny. So, but I've been meaning to tell you about that armor. I was like, wait a minute. I always look at armor because I don't know how they would make all that for so many people. It's printed. It looks so good. I'm sure most people didn't notice. Well, I think partly, Monica, it was the writer's strike that really delayed things. I saw the chaos thing and I was like, something about this does not look like something I'm going to like, but I was very intrigued because I really love mythology. And if I pay attention to it for a bit, I'm actually pretty good at it. Some of the mainstream, like the more commonly known myths and things. Like my sewing machine until this one was always named Artemis. I have a lot of things named Artemis. Artemis is one of my favorites. I just would love to just run around the woods with a bow and arrow. What am I doing here? Here we go. I'm like, why is that working? How we got me into watch first episode of Matlock, not knowing series. Oh, it's not out yet. That actually, I'm intrigued by that. I forgot about that. I was a really big Walking Dead fan, and I'm having so much trouble figuring out all the shows they have and where to watch them, you know? Like, a few weeks ago, all of a sudden, Fear the Walking Dead came up on Netflix, which it's never been on there before. I had to watch that on a service we don't have anymore, and I never finished it. And it's probably like a final season so I just watched the last season because that was the only thing I hadn't seen. It was weird. It was like everybody in it was good. The acting was good. The writing was not great. There was just so many things I'm like, they would not say that. That's so weird. And the story was kind of confusing, and I was like, what? Who's the bad guy here? What's going on? Oh, really, Terry? But I didn't think you liked scary, gross things. That becomes not about the dead, the undead. That is about the people. The people are scary. So I really love that show, though. I love the characters in it. Twice now, I've gotten to buy characters from Walking Dead in 2 video games I play. And Michonne and Daryl are 2 of my favorite all-time characters, and I've gotten to be both. It's just gross, honestly. It's not scary. It's a little gross occasionally, and you get used to that because they stop showing it as much. It's really just when they're introducing everything, that becomes not about the story, you know? Until you meet Michonne, but you don't care. Like, Michonne's so, like, so good. Just watched Walking Dead with my son, and we watched Vikings. Oh, yeah, yeah. You get used to absolutely love Walking Dead until just in time passed in the show that everyone started forming gangs, fighting each other. Yeah, that was a really tough season, Nancy. I totally agree with you. But you get past it. For me, Dexter's one of those that is where you're pulling for a bad guy. And you know I have qualms with stuff like that. You know, like, it could be a really, really good show, but I'm so distracted when I'm pulling for someone who's doing really bad things, no matter what they're doing, you know, like The Sopranos. These are not good people, and we're pulling for them, and I have trouble with that, you know. So, and that is just my own quirk. Like, I don't think other people are like, you know, like, oh, you shouldn't watch that, you're promoting that. I don't think that, like, at all. Breaking Bad is different, though, Amy. Breaking Bad is different because you aren't pulling for him at the end. Breaking Bad was so good. Have you watched Better Call Saul? Better Call Saul is one of the best series I've seen. I was not interested in watching that series because Saul really stresses me out in Breaking Bad. He's a very stressful character for me. I loved Better Call Saul. That is such an underrated show. It's probably not underrated. I just was late to it. Everyone probably knows about it but me, but I love that show. But Breaking Bad, I actually did think about that, Amy, because I was like, I don't know. Like, this guy is making meth. Like, I know it's for whatever his reasons are, but I don't know about this. That story evolves in a way that it can only have one conclusion, and I'm not pulling for him. You're just kind of like, what's going to happen? And I didn't finish The Sopranos because I was just sick of sympathizing with someone like that. You know? If you can't get in, you can't get into it. But it so accurately portrays a lot of human living, and I really like that. Oh, I could totally see Monica liking Saul. Oh, I saw Lincoln Lawyer's pretty good. I like that one. But I stopped watching it because I couldn't stand one of the stories it was on. And it was like the gal he was dating, and I was like, you know, I don't like romance. I'm sorry. When have you just... Oh, Game of Thrones. I watched Game of Thrones. I've read Game of Thrones, and I've watched Game of Thrones. And there's so much happening in that world. It is, if you really want to understand everything happening in it, it's like Tolkien. There's so much happening in that I read the books, I watched the series, and I would watch the episode twice in the same week to understand who was who, what was happening. And then like say, and that's the other thing is like they'll bring back characters in that series. Like you don't have to understand all that subtlety, but it makes it so much better if you understand how all these people are interplaying and what's really happening in this world. It's very fascinating. And I would sit there and be like, I would pause it, like we would watch it, and I'd be like, Michael, this guy is from the very, very, very first episode, which was 2 years ago. He's the person that did this, and he's from here, and blah, blah. And he'd be like, oh. And it would just change the whole meaning of this person because it takes so much. There's a lot of work involved if you really want to understand everything that's happening. Yeah, you have to watch it a couple of times. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, Monica. I'm sorry, ruined suits. I'm not done with it either, but it's like, all they ever say is, what they have like, they have this one phrase they all say over and over, and they never leave the building, and it's always the same thing. Lewis makes a big old mistake. They get themselves in deep, and it's so dramatic. Everything is so dramatic in that show, but it's fun to watch. Oh, I really liked House of Dragon. Oh my gosh, there's a new series. There's a new season of that, and I haven't finished watching that. The Wire was really, really good. I used to really love Lewis. Now I'm like, get over it, buddy. Grow up. You need to figure some things out, buddy. Like, how do you keep doing this? They all kind of drive me crazy for one reason or another. It was procedural, very repetitive, increasingly ridiculous. Yeah, that's a great sentence. And they only ever meet at the hot dog cart outside. I shouldn't have here to ruin it. And it's really funny because every time I have that on, I'm usually cooking in the kitchen. So I do not have to look at it at all. And Michael's office is close by, and he'll come in, he'll be like, what's this show again? He's always intrigued by it because of whatever. And I have to tell him every time. I'm like, this is that show Suits, and you don't really have to watch it. Olivia Pope. I don't know. The clothes were great. The women's dresses, all of them, they're distracting. They're so good. They're so good. The wardrobe was good. And so expensive. You know? So expensive. Which one? The government lawyer? Lincoln lawyer? Mad Men and Project Runway. He was the president. They had an affair. Oh. That's a series? West Wing? Scandal. There's no legal secretary in the world that could... I know, Aisha, exactly. But remember, he pays her from his own salary, too. Okay, what's the one where... the woman, I love her as an actress. And she has all these college students, and there's a murder mystery. I can't tell. I can't describe it. I'm terrible. Severance is great. Yay, Christina, nice. Woo-woo. I loved Silo. I loved Foundation. Yes, How to Get Away with... How did you know that's what I was talking about? That show, I thought was really, really good. And that is another one. I was like, oh, we are rooting for the bad guys here. I am not liking her. Like, I don't like her character. Like, couldn't pull for her anymore. She was driving me crazy. Like the dumb woman in Weeds. Oh my God, I just wanted to strangle her. Like, how do you make this many bad choices all the time? Oh, right, Terry? I love that woman too. I can't remember her name. I love her. And I was like, ooh. And I really loved it at first. And I was like, nope, 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 nope. I can't watch this. Ozarks, amazing. Love Ozarks. The other sci-fi one that Apple did, it's Foundation, Silo, and with the Invasion. I think it's called Invasion. That one's really good too. Those are Apple TV though, and I feel like fewer people have Apple TV. Ozarks was so good. Ozark's another one where you start pulling for the bad guys, and I was really struggling at the end, and I wanted to throttle his wife so bad. And the kids were really good in that. The kids were really, really good. Like their children. Okay, sorry, we are off track of this shirt. It's looking good. All we need to do is the hem. So I was just checking the front placket before I hem it. Yeah, the kids were so good. Tragic in some ways, like, because, you know, that's, you know, monkey see, monkey do. Oh, wait, Travelers. Wait. That's very familiar to me. I might have to write that one down because I feel like I wanted to look at that one a few times. I know. Oh, gosh, Monica. Right? There were a few times where when Laura Linney, you know, in Ozark, when she was down Mexico, I was like, she can stay there. I think she can go in the hole. Please put her in the hole. But what's the blonde girl's name in that? Is her name Grace? With the like towhead blonde girl. What's her name? Oh my God. She was she and the kids, hands down, so good. What's her name? She's brilliant, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a slippery slope, Nancy. Be careful. All right, this is the wrong, no, this is the wrong side. I can't even see my pocket bag there. No one remembers her name, but okay, I watched her in Being Anna something, Anna whatever. She was really good in that too. Weird. It was weird seeing her in that because she plays an American not with a Ozark accent. Julia Garner-Ruth. Yeah. That's the actress's name. Yeah. Exactly. That's her name. Exactly. Loved her so much. She, yeah. I would have probably stopped watching if they had killed her off, like early on or something. I don't care, Nancy. We're here to hang out. And so, I get some good shows from you guys, you know? Okay, so I was just looking at my plackets, and as long as they do match and they're on the plaid, so that's good. The trick here is like, I cut this on the plaid. It should all match, right? You just got to make sure it actually still does. But it's the neckline. The neckline's where you could have made it off a bit. And then if you have this has a yoke, so you also might want to look and make sure your yokes are matching across. So that's what I was kind of looking at here. Ozark got very dark, but I needed resolution in that, and I could probably rewatch that because it was it really went on and on. Like, I was glad, I wanted more, but there was it was just one of those things where the story starts twisting so much, you're like, wait, are we back at the beginning? Oh, I've seen Last Tango in Halifax. I've seen that whole series. There are some characters in that I wanted to throttle for sure. I mean, don't forget, my all-time favorite is The Last of Us. Like, The Last of Us, second season's coming out, you guys. Second season, 2025. The trailer looks so good. You are not prepared for what's going to happen. The story is, it's incredible. It's incredible. So good. Am I winding a bobbin? I am trying to wind a bobbin and it isn't winding. I could tell it was making that sound. This bobbin's probably not going to wind, actually. Oh well. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything. But if you need certain spoilers to feel like so you're prepared for things, I will help you out there because I understand that. Sometimes I need to know so I can handle it. I watched part of the Durrells, but that's another one where I feel like parts of it were driving me kind of nuts, but it is kind of a feel-good, funny, fun little show. I didn't finish it. I should watch that one. Anna Delvey. Yes, that's it. Becoming Anna, right? Yeah. Becoming Anna, yeah. Did you know the real one is actually on, the real Anna Delvey's on Dancing, well, it's not her, but that's such a complicated thing. She was impersonating a person, and then she finally did go to prison, and she's out with an ankle monitor on Dancing with the Stars. The whole thing is so annoying, you know? Yeah, I can. I can, Terry, because it's not the lightest show, but the story is so good. That's one I wish that I could play as a game with you guys and discover it together and we could talk about it. I would love to talk about that game so much because there's just, it's one of those things where there's so many things. It's so artfully made that you will later go, oh my gosh, I just realized that affected that and that happened. It's very well done. It's very well thought out. Yeah, it's oh, you didn't get to the Bill and Frank part. Amy, if you'd gotten to Bill and Frank, you would have been fine. Right, Terry? But yes, it is a rough world. It is a very hard world. The infected are definitely very frightening. I played the first game so many times, and at the time when I played it, it had been out for a while. So most of the people you could find live streaming it were speedrunners. So I learned how to get through certain tricky areas because of speedrunners. And when my friends would watch me play, they're like, oh my God, Saremy, it took me 3 days to get through that section. And I'm like, I know, I use speedrunning tactics. You start learning like, oh, I don't have to fight these enemies, but these enemies I do need to get rid of. They will keep respawning until they're all gone. They won't respawn. You can't get past the checkpoint unless you kill them. But certain areas you start learning like, oh my gosh, I don't have to waste my time on all these enemies. But it's kind of funny to watch me play because I look really good at certain parts because I speed through it. Not. All right, so let's check our length there. Now, Fallout I gave up on. It was too weird for me. I've been attracted to play that game way before that TV show came out, so I was kind of excited about the show. I was like, oh, this is great, because I had tried convincing friends to play that, and they were like, not really, not interested. And so I thought, oh, this is perfect. I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna be into this show and I'm gonna get the game. Nope. Nope, it was too weird. That's because you're more precise than me, Terry. All right, we're done. Oof, I love this flannel. It's so nice. It just feels so nice. Aren't you sick of watching me sew something that has no clear right and wrong side, though? That you can't even see any of the details on? It's like camouflage. Ah. I kind of just want to cut out my other fabric right away and sew up a couple more, but I want to check my fit stuff for him first, you know? I really am too, Amy. I can't wait. We won't see it for like a week, just so you know. So, all right, here we go. Looks good. Not the side of the cuff I planned on, but I like the green a lot, obviously. It's very cozy. You might have to make one, Julie. Julie, when are you moving to the States? We just need to adopt you. Oh, yeah, not done buttons and buttonholes. That's true. Boy. Thanks for reminding me. Oh, speaking of which, would you guys look at my blazer? Are you done admiring my shirt? I want to show you the buttons I have. I don't have very many. Okay, so. Would you like to see my, oh, hi, Bubs. Let's see if we can look at my blazer. There it is. Oh, sorry, Bubs. It's a little wrinkled. It was really rumpled in a bin. So I ended up pick stitching all the way around the collar and lapel down to here, and the pocket flaps. Oh, I added the pockets because remember my welts were too low. And then on the inside, it's like an explosion of color, isn't it? I tried pick stitching the hems twice, and it was just too much. So what I did was I hand sewed the hem down along the bottom and on the sleeve here. So that's where I'm at. But I want you to help me pick out the buttons and buttonholes. Okay, or buttons. Not buttonholes. It feels so sturdy and like I could do anything to it and it'll be fine because it's just cotton corduroy, you know? All right, so you saw how it looked before I turned it inside out, right? So you know you don't see any of the inside on the outside. So I just want to remind you of that. However, some of the buttons I like the best are these. It's just really bumpy there. So let's see. I only have 3 of these buttons. Okay, and I also would like a couple of buttons on my sleeve, my fake cuffs over here. So that's a problem. I don't really have very many buttons. So I have these right here. And I thought pink could still work even if you couldn't see the inside, right? These are actually vintage. These are all vintage actually. And then these, let's just unclip some for the sake of science, right? I actually think these work. Oh, it's nice to see them like this. I actually like this, but is this too pigeonholed? I do have enough for the cuffs though. You know? So I have these. Yeah, Amy picked these. I think it could work. I'm trying to hide the top so it doesn't skew you because I know it matches the inside really nicely. I also have these like plum ones. Oh, moved into the staple era. These are very pretty. I think the shanks would be deep enough for all of these, yeah. Barely. A plum. They are a really pretty color, like they kind of have some depth to it. I think I have more of those, so I would have enough for the sleeve, but they're not smaller. I really don't have very many buttons. I have a lot of buttons, I just don't have, do I really only have 6 of those? Because I needed 8. I need 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. The struggles, man, the struggles with buttons and stuff, you know. I mean, how does one even pick them out if they don't already, have them? Oh, that's the other thing is I just didn't have very many shank. I had these. They're like a neat wooden one. Chunky buttons. I mean, chunky buttons, I feel like you're right. I have these, but they're not shank. I have a lot of them too. No buttons on the pockets. I wasn't thinking about it, but I guess I could. But I would need a lot more buttons. Maybe I just need to order buttons. That's one thing I don't feel very confident shopping for online, you know? I don't know why I keep these, I keep any multiples together unless it's just like a 1 or 2. Like, I mean 2, like, you know? I do like this, so it's easy. I'm just really not into most of these. Like, why are there so many buttons like this? You know? These like coat of arm type things, you know? Chunky buttons. This is my chunky thing here. It's pretty slim pickings. I think I only have 2 of these. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Let's see. I have 3 of those. That's a possibility. I could do, I kind of like this side. What do you think it's supposed to be? I think it's supposed to be this side, right? Holland Hoof Farm Store? Holland Hoof Farm Store. Okay. Okay. That sounds, I just want to visit this place. Because I probably have smaller, maybe some smaller wooden buttons. These things weigh nothing. They're so weird. Maybe I have some smaller wooden ones for the cuffs. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not really into anything. This does look good though. I have ink on here, don't worry. I wish the blue would stay, it's really a really pretty blue, but when I put it on this camera, it gets kind of dull. There are a lot of Saremy. What does that mean? Me now? No. Oh, I know why. I know why. Can you hear me now? You are yelling at me. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't test that microphone. I didn't know. Blame it on Naomi. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay, can we maybe filter by shank? Go back now. Go back now. Okay. These are so cute. These kinds of things are really cool, but I find them really hard to figure out how to do the buttonhole. Like you have to measure around the button. Okay, see you, Terry. Have a good weekend. These are really cool though. I want some wood. Oh, these are so cute. I love this right here. I might have to get these for my mom and do something with them. The beetles. We need shank buttons, you guys. In my experience, wood buttons are fine. They will patina, especially if your hands are dirty every time you use your button. Oh, you can search shank? Okay. Just search shank. Where's the search button? Oh, here. Okay. I look at way too many websites. Oh, no, I just saw moss screen come up. Ceramic, though. Okay. Phew. Oh, they're all ceramic. Shoot. I can weave a shank, but it'll wear out. I thought maybe if I took the word buttons out. These are really cool buttons. Amy's fighting with the autocorrect. Oh, this is the knitting. I could tell there was a lot of knitting influence here. Wait, hairpins? Oh, hairpins. Oh, these are shawl pins. Never mind. So this other place I really like, Woolly Moss Roots. You might like this, Naomi, if you like that place. Oh, that's my friend Brooke's yarn. That's cool. I have a bunch of stuff from them, and I really like it. I have some hair things, too. That's very cute. Look at the little cat heads. Maybe if I wove a shank. Oh, this is kind of cool. So I have a hairpin with this on it, that blue, and it's still on there. Like, it's been years. I've had it for years, and it's totally fine. I thought that would rub off, and it didn't. I could weave a shank, and maybe if I use like a nylon thread, I would feel good about it. But I just don't want to do it again later. When am I going to sew again? Just easy. But I've met her and her husband, and they do all this themselves too. A lot of the same kind of stuff. I didn't see any hairpin. Yeah, I didn't see any hairpins either. Yep, not cheap. See you, Christina. Yeah, we're just chilling. But of all my wooden hair sticks that I've had, theirs have lasted. So I appreciate that. I don't see any shank buttons here. Another reason why you don't want to lose your buttons is if they're expensive and handmade. They really only have a few styles on here. It's like the same thing over and over, I think, in lots of different configurations. See, the thing is, Julie, you can sell really expensive buttons to hand knitters because they need so few and they're so dang proud of their creation. So yeah, I think you can get away with it. I think these are kind of neat. Leather covered buttons. What if you use carpet thread? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You know, the other thing is how you can put like a button on top of a button. These are kind of neat. Oh, those don't have a shank either. All right, well, I've got my work cut out for me as far as finding buttons. And I really want to finish, what is this open here? I really want to finish this jacket. That's all it needs now. So I had to scroll way down here. Here we go. Oof, very dark. But thank you. Those I really want to use for those porcelain buttons. I think they'd be better on hand knits. Like on hand knits, they're perfect because you don't wash those all the time. They're not going to get banged around in the washer and dryer. And usually you don't use the button placket on hand knits nearly as much as you use it on other things because you either keep it buttoned or keep it unbuttoned or you pull it over your head. So in my experience with most of my hand knit things, well, that's a button. So I just need to start hand knitting again or change all my buttons and all my sweaters to those because those were so cute. All right, well, I'm gonna go. I'm hungry. It's 3 o'clock for me. And I've been live for 4 hours. This shirt took a long time. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Hi, Adina. I'm signing off. I've been live for like 4 hours. Oh, yeah. I forgot to look for that, Nancy. Sorry. I do have some vintage ones. You mean like these? I don't know. Is this leather? This isn't leather. What are these? Oof, I just don't like the smell of my button thing. Those weird amber buttons really ruined it. This thing's kind of neat. What do you think this is for? It's got a little loop at each end. Social tomorrow. What about clear buttons? I've even thought about tack buttons. I mean, I have handmade buttons too. Like I have some. People give them to you with chickens on them. Maybe I'll do the plum. I don't know. I have so many buttons. None of them the right ones really. So, oh well. First world problems for sure. Maybe I just skip buttons. Why isn't there something else besides buttons and buttonholes that I could put on the front of this? Is there something else I could put on the front of this? Could I just not do that? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, you just moved into your home. Congratulations. How many miles are you from me? So you don't have to tell me where you are. I thought about fabric covered buttons. I don't have any kits. I don't want it to look too 70s though. Not that it does. Look, it really brightens the blue when I open it up. You don't have to email me your address. I was just curious what town you're in because I know you're closer to me and I don't know what town it is. Like, what fire danger are you at? Oh, anyway. All right. I'll have a great weekend, you guys. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I will be making men's pants in a couple weeks. I'm using the Wardrobe by Me cargo shorts and turning them into pants. Loki knows what's going on. Come here, you. Want to say hi? Oh, my goodness. Oh, sleepy. Not in a fire danger. Oh. Okay, that really narrows it down. You're not close to me. Yeah, and there's, if you're in the guild socials tomorrow, which is just like a drop-in Zoom, you can hang out, talk, not talk, have your camera on, not have your camera, whatever. It's chill. And workshops are next week too. So, yeah. All right, you guys. Have a good one. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.